Good night.
Now at McDonald's, I can get any 2 McGriddles for just $3.
Paint? Me. Paint? Me. Paint me. Paint me. Paint me.
House telling you something? Lowe's has new lower prices all over the store. Paint, brushes, ladders, you name it. So come to Lowe's this July 4th weekend, and let's build something together.
Use your Lowe's consumer credit card and pay nothing for 12 months on any purchase of $299 or more.
Ordering in for the game? Visit DexKnows.com for all the delivery options in your area.
The long ball took center stage last night. And in the end, it was little Mike Fontenot who came up big. Today, it gets tougher as the Cubs will see the Giants ace Tim Lincecum next. Once again, we are in San Francisco for Cubs baseball here on Comcast Sportsnet. It's the late afternoon here in California, early evening hours back home in Chicago, and the Cubs go for a series win. They've taken 2 of the first 3 against the Giants in this 4-game series. And hi again, everyone. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. A big 1-run win last night. Mike Fontenot with a game-winning home run in the 8th, and the Cubs offense getting a little more help today.
Getting a couple big parts of that offense back. Reed Johnson will hit leadoff for the Cubs today. Aramis Ramirez back in his familiar number 4 hole in the lineup. You see what these guys have done this season, and the intangibles that they both bring to the table don't always show up on a stat sheet.
Johnson was on the disabled list with some back problems, but he was feeling good a few days ago. Eligible today. Eric Patterson optioned back to AAA Iowa, and Aramis today will try to snap an 0 for 17. Now the pitching matchup, couple of good, young, hard-throwing right-handers.
Well, especially in the case of Tim Lincecum, this guy is the very definition of a power pitcher. 9 victories against only 1 defeat, the very low ERA. Sean Gallagher perhaps pitching for his baseball future, depending on whether he goes to the bullpen, stays in the rotation, or maybe even back to the minor leagues.
All right, so it's game 4 coming up. It has been an exciting series to this point. 2 1-run games the last 2 nights. We'll have the Cubs and the Giants. All the action coming up next.
America, you declared your independence from interest rates, and the response was overwhelming. The Chevy 72-hour sale has been extended. Time is running out to break free from interest payments for 6 full years with 0% financing for 72 months. Choose from thousands of Chevys, like the HHR, with an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon on the highway. The Chevy 72-hour sale. See your local Chevy dealer today.
So, you're a green person, but which shade? Confusing, isn't it? Well, True Value's Color Made Simple can help. With exclusive tools, trained professionals, and expert advice, finding your color will always be simple. Now let's talk purple. True Value's Color Made Simple.
Meeting the challenge since 1940.
If it's got a motor. That's our slogan here at Clinton Motor Works, and what's it mean? Well, we have one of the area's best selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Oh yeah, and the cruising coolers. How great is that? A 13-mile-an-hour cooler to ride. Just another reason to stop in and see what's going on. Now let's talk warranty. We have the area's only lifetime engine warranty on most all the vehicles we sell. That's right, your engine blows, you get it fixed for free. That's why people do business with us. For your next great sales and finance experience, we'll see you soon at Clinton Motor Works.
If it's got a motor.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by Chevy. Log on now to ChevyDriveChicago.com. Check us out today, ChevyDriveChicago.com. Midas, for brakes, oil changes, tires, and more. Trust the Midas touch. Your Chicago area Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Menards. At Menards, you'll find big lumber yards, big selection, and big savings. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, we want to give you the security to experience wellness everywhere. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Cadillac, Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit. And by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines, you're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today.
It is warmed up a little bit here in the city by the bay as you get a look at the bay. San Francisco Bay, McCovey Cove just beyond the right field wall, and we are set for action. Gallagher and Lincecum. And the Giant starter is ready to work against Reed Johnson, who has come off the disabled list today. He was on with lower back spasms. Very anxious the last couple of days as he felt like he was ready, but he wasn't eligible to return until this afternoon. Eric Patterson was optioned back to AAA Iowa, and here we go. Ball one is a little bit low from Lincecum. 71 degrees. Beautiful day here at AT&T Park.
Very light breeze blowing. Seems to be kind of pushing out toward right center field, but shouldn't be much of a factor in a day game here at AT&T Park.
We'll get you the rest of the Cubs lineup here momentarily as we check in on those game conditions. Wind still blowing very hard. And Reed Johnson goes to the right field corner. Fair ball. Welcome back, Reed Johnson. He's going to stop at second base. You saw Randy Wynn had to reach in behind the bench to pick up that baseball. Good start for the Cubs.
All right, good start for Reed Johnson, right off the disabled list and rounding the bases first at bat. Tucks that just inside the right field foul line. As you mentioned, Len, it gets down there and rattles around in the Cubs bullpen. Randy Wynn has to go down to a knee to dig that one out.
Now I'm wondering if he put his hands up. Would he have gotten away with that with the umpires? I mean, if a ball goes into a ball bag or behind it, I would assume it's like it goes into the ivy at Wrigley Field. Kosuke batting second today with Johnson leading off. Did he actually grab the same ball that was hit?
We'll never know.
Kosuke has been leading off lately, with Soriano still on the disabled list. He's having his left hand re-examined today in Chicago, and he'll rejoin the club in St. Louis tomorrow. And you hate to assume anything, but assuming everything looks good, he should be able to take some batting practice here very soon.
And the real good news about the Soriano injury was it was to his hand, so he's been able to keep his legs in shape. He's been able to shag balls in the outfield. He's been able to keep his throwing arm in shape. So once he starts to swing that bat, it's only a matter of a very short period of time until he's ready to go again.
Very quick kind of punch on that strike called by Paul Emmel, the home plate umpire. 1-2 on Kosuke, who would love at the very least to move Johnson to third base. A pitch by Lincecum, and he's unable to do any damage as he strikes out. Now the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. Lee coming up. Aramis is back, trying to snap an 0 for 17. Edmonds in center. He hit another home run last night. Soto with a big hit late in the ball game. DeRosa, Terrio, and Gallagher rounded out.
Tim Lincecum off to a great start through his first 16 starts this season. The 9-1 record. Great strikeout to walk ratio, and it goes without saying when you're facing good pitchers like Tim Lincecum, you want to try to get to them early, and especially today with the 4 o'clock local time start. Probably about the 6th inning, maybe the 7th inning, the shadows are going to become a huge problem for the hitters here at AT&T Park.
That one really got away from him on a breaking ball.
He slipped off the mound there on his delivery. You see all those chunks of clay out there on the mound. That's what they use to fill in the holes. His right foot, his push-off foot, just kind of spun off the rubber, put him in a real bad position. Very easy for pitchers to get hurt like that. Yeah, all that brown dirt you see on the top is actually clay that they use to pound down into the hole right in front of the rubber, as well as the landing area where the pitcher strides.
Well, Tim Lincecum on the cover of this week's Sports Illustrated, a huge article by Tom Verducci. 2-1, and much of the piece is about his mechanics, and they break down almost frame by frame. Yeah, they call him the freak. He is 5'11", 170, but he can reach the upper 90s. They go frame by frame basically with his mechanics and his delivery. He gets great extension. Good block by Molina. They had a great note in the SI piece that most pitchers stride from 77 to 87% of their height. He strides 129% of his height. Look at the stretch there with his legs. That's about 7.5 feet. He basically lunges his body to the plate, and he's much more efficient than he looks. Struck well. It's going to be a base hit. Johnson's going to try to score. Aaron Rowan's throw is way offline. Lee moving to second base, 1-0.
Well, Len, I cannot tell you how huge that is for the Cubs to put a run on the board early against Tim Lincecum. There's no question he's one of the best pitchers in the game right now. You get a look at Aaron Rowan airmailing a ball, talking about mechanics. Not great mechanics there. He missed everybody, threw that ball over into the third base on deck circle, allowing Derek Lee to advance. But if you allow Lincecum to put some zeros on the board early and settle in out there on the mound, you could go home with some zeros.
Coming in, he had posted the lowest batting average against with runners in scoring position, but the Cubs are now 1 for 2 today. A throwing error on Rowan, allowing Lee to get to second base. Giving up just a 131 average with runners in scoring position. Aramis is back in the lineup, and he hits a high fly to right, and Randy Wynn will make the grab. So Ramirez, who did not have a hit the entire weekend on the south side, now 0 for his last 18.
Take a look at the throw by Aaron Rowan. A little extra crow hop there at the end. He pulls his head down, and that ball just slips out of his hand, gets by the cutoff man, gets by the catcher, gets by the pitcher who was backing up the play.
It's going to be a long day of flying for Aramis Ramirez. He flew from the Dominican Republic after attending to a family matter to Miami, and this morning had about a 5.5-hour flight from Miami here to San Francisco for this game, and then the Cubs will fly to St. Louis right after the ball game to start a series tomorrow night. It'll be a big weekend for Jim Edmonds as he returns to St. Louis in a Cubs uniform. He thought he had it tough at Wrigley Field as a Cub. We'll see how it goes in St. Louis. I would imagine, Bob, he'll get a nice ovation tomorrow night.
I personally feel he'll probably get a standing ovation, if not just a very robust ovation his first at bat. But then after that, he will slowly but surely move over to the dark side as far as the Cardinal fans are concerned.
Just inside 96 on that heater, 1-2.
Much like Reed Johnson in Toronto. When we went up there, he got a huge standing ovation, and with each passing day and with each passing base hit, they started to boo him a little bit more and a little bit more.
Hit foul.
Boy, some interesting numbers on Lincecum. You definitely want to get him early in the sequence. When he gets to an 0-2 count, opposing batters are hitting .058, which is not unusual in an 0-2 count. 1-2 count, it's a 140 average. 2-2, it's only 210. So once this guy gets to 2 strikes, you've got your work cut out for you.
Little tapper. Lincecum will get off the mound, and he'll underhand flip to Bowker to get out of the inning. The Cubs, however, strike in the first inning. They get a run. Sean Gallagher will face the Giants when we come back.
We have a code blue. Code blue. Code blue. Code blue. Code blue.
Divide by the total sales, you'll see how we came up with the 10%.
Code blue.
Code blue.
The cold activated bottle from Coors Light. The mountains on the label turn blue when your beer is as cold as the Rockies.
Oh, what?
Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
This is the story of a single piece of wood, separated and taken to different places, where each piece is shaped, honed, and polished, only to be sent back to end the way they began, as one perfectly matched piece. Visit your Lexus dealer today for an exclusive look at how nothing else is built like a Lexus ES. Lease the 2008 ES for $389 a month for 36 months with $34.89 due at signing.
Alex Klein is a real Geico customer, not a paid celebrity. So to help tell his story, we hired that guy who does those funny sound effects.
My car was totaled over 1,000 miles from home. So I called Geico. And in less than 10 business hours, I got a check for a new car.
Geico, real service, real savings.
Cubs got a run against Tim Lincecum. Let's see how Sean Gallagher fares against this Giants Southwest starting lineup. Fred Lewis will lead it off. Ray Durham tied the game late against Carlos Marmol last night with a 3-run homer win. Molina, Rowan. Aaron Rowan had a rough night. Bowker at first. He also hit a home run. Castillo, Vizquel, and Lincecum at the bottom.
A more traditional looking lineup today defensively for Lou Piniella. Reed Johnson, Jim Edmonds, Kosuke Fukudome across the outfield. Aramis Ramirez back at third base. Terrio at short. DeRosa at second base. Derek Lee over at first. Giovanni Soto once again doing the catching today for right-hander Sean Marshall, or rather Sean Gallagher. Marshall's the lefty. Gallagher's the righty.
Right.
I've almost got that figured out.
I should say correct. 95 from Gallagher. Working quickly. That's low. 2 balls and a strike. Got a no decision his last time out. Threw a career high 121 pitches. Gave up 5 runs in 6 innings. But forget the numbers for a second. He really battled against the White Sox on Saturday. It was his first start in 9 days. And after the ball game, he said it really helped him when his manager came to the mound early on and lit a little fire underneath him. Lou said he came out and told him to occasionally throw that breaking ball in the dirt to get the hitters to chase. Doesn't get Lewis to chase here. That's a leadoff walk. Now the key umpires this afternoon. Paul Emmel, a Michigan native, now lives in California. He'll work the plate. Darling, Miller, and Campos on the bases. And Bob, I don't know what sort of percentage you put on stuff versus the intangibles when it comes to pitching. And while Sean Gallagher is certainly an unfinished product, the stuff is the first thing that jumps out. But the more you see him, it's the intangibles, I think, they really step to the forefront.
No, there's no question he has good stuff, but it's not off the charts good. I mean, there's a lot of pitchers in the major leagues that have stuff similar to Sean Gallagher, but I think the thing that the Cubs really have been drawn to him for is his guts, the way he battles, his competitiveness out there, his poise. And those are some of the things that are awfully tough to teach to a young pitcher.
Popped up by Durham. And it's Johnson in left, 1 out. Here's Randy Wynn.
Yeah, you referred to his start against the White Sox last time out when he gave up the 5 runs and got a little bit of a lecture from his skipper on the mound. But I'll tell you, those are the learning moments, the windows of opportunity to become a better player at the major league level. And when things are going well, there's no reason to change anything. Very rarely will you change anything after a good start, but occasionally when you hit a bump in the road and your manager or your pitching coach or sometimes even a teammate comes up and gives you encouragement or a pat on the back or a kick in the rear, those are those learning moments that make you a better ball player for the future.
A 1-0 pitch to Win. He pops it up, this time on the infield. And it's Derek Lee. This road telecast here on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in high definition by Sharp Aquas. Great look at the bay in high definition. If you know what you're doing as far as sailing, this should be a great day to sail with all the wind. If you don't know what you're doing, you're probably going to end up in the Pacific somewhere.
Well, they've never lacked for wind here. Let's just put it that way. Great place to fly a kite, sail a boat.
One strike on Benji Molina, the catcher. Also their cleanup hitter coming in at 302. Another fly ball. Johnson with lots of time to get over there. And that's the inning. Gallagher walked the leadoff man Lewis, but then he retired the next three. It's 1-0 Cubs after one.
Hey, yeah, there's this ATM surcharge rebate thingy on my statement.
Oh, that's a rebate for ATM fees charged to you by other banks.
What?
Well, we just don't think you should have to pay to get your own money.
You don't?
Nope. That's why we rebate ATM fees on your lead checking account, no matter whose ATM you use.
I need a second, Gene. So I don't have to pay to get my own money.
It's not just banking, it's National City.
We've sold thousands of quality used cars, but actually, quality used cars sell themselves. Hello, I'm Bruce Dickstein of the David Bruce Auto Center. Our factory-trained technicians go through every used car. The ones that pass go on our lot. The ones that don't, they go somewhere else. At the David Bruce Auto Center, we take the risk out of buying. We believe it's the only way to buy a used car.
And if credit has been a problem, see David Bruce for a second chance.
Menards is your one-stop shop for great landscape products. Create beautiful gardens with 16-inch diamond retaining wall blocks. Great for straight or curved walls, beveled or straight cut in 3 colors, only $4.44. Mulching your yard is an easy weekend project that adds beauty, controls weeds, and retains moisture. Bags of red, gold, or brown-colored mulch are only $2.18 each. Plus, there's 0 interest till 2010 when you put it on your Menards big card.
Save big money at Menards.
Are you ready for an outrageous, zany, and unpredictable night at Wrigley Field? Come join Harry Canary, Clammy Sosa, and the Superstars, along with Bert Zerk on July 29th, as the Peoria Chiefs host the Kane County Cougars in the Road to Wrigley, presented by National City. Don't miss out on the chance to see these crazy characters in action. To order tickets, visit Cubs.com today. Soto, DeRosa, and Terrio for the Cubs against Tim Lincecum. The Cubs were able to get a run in the first inning. And the Cubs today announced that due to rising demand, tickets are now available for the upper deck box and upper deck reserve seating sections for that July 29th minor league game at Wrigley Field. So go to Cubs.com. One ball, 2 strikes. You see Soto here on this trip hitting .391. Swing and a miss by Soto. 1 out. Now, advanced ticket sales for that game on July 29th have already broken the Midwest League single game attendance record, which is currently 14,492. That was set by Kane County last year. So it's going to be a great night of minor league baseball in the friendly confines.
Well, that's great to hear the fans have responded the way they have to that game. I think it's just going to be a remarkable experience for those young players. First of all, to play at Wrigley Field and hopefully to play in front of a full house.
1-1 on DeRosa. Called strike 1-2. Lincecum has won a career high 5 in a row going back to May 10th, covering 10 starts. So he has not lost since April 29th, his only loss of the year. And that was a quality start. 7 innings, 3 runs against the Rockies in a 4-1 defeat. 4th in the majors with a 2.38 ERA, and he fans DeRosa.
Boy, that is some kind of a downer breaking ball right there. Starts it up around the letters, ends up almost in the dirt behind home plate. And he uses that fastball so effectively. Not only the velocity that he features, but he throws it a lot across the top of the strike zone, which really sets up that breaking ball.
You saw the numbers there, back-to-back unbeaten months. May and June. This is his first start in July. Ground ball, easy play for Ray Durham. And the Cubs don't do anything in the second against Lincecum after getting that run in the first. Still 1-0 after an inning and a half.
Here we can see that the structure of price variance is going to shift unilaterally according to daily expenditures and profit margins. And here on slide 88 or 250, we have a contribution margin.
That's why Southwest Airlines has 15 daily one-stop and connecting flights from Chicago Midway to Dallas Love Field, so you can always catch a later flight. And you can count on us to get you there with our convenient flights and on-time service.
You're now free to be more productive.
I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love.
It's the latest in communication, entertainment, and exhilaration. The 300 horsepower Acura MDX. It's next generation luxury. Acura Advance.
Take advantage of attractive financing on select Acura models for well-qualified customers.
Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Kia Motors. Kia, the power to surprise. Rico, move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. And by Nissan and your Nissan dealer.
The Cubs take on the Reds this Tuesday at 7:05. Be sure to arrive early and be one of the first 10,000 adults to receive a Cubs tote bag compliments of Whole Foods Market. Whole Foods Market is proud to be an official sponsor of the Chicago Cubs. They'll be on the upcoming homestand, which will take the Cubs into the All-Star break. Reds in for 3, and then the Giants come in. A lot of Cub fans here in attendance today as they try to win this series. They've taken 2 of the first 3. Aaron Rowand will dig in. He had a rough night in game 3. Struck out in his first 3 at bats, once with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 3rd inning, and then he popped to second in his 4th at bat.
All 3 strikeouts against Ryan Dempster came on a slider. I saw Demps this morning in the hotel lobby. Said it was the best slider he's had this year, and I would assume that Aaron Rowan would agree with that. He didn't come close to any of them.
I see 5 strikeouts among his 10 at bats. Another tough no decision for Dempster on the road last night. Still without a win on the road, but he pitched well enough to get that victory. It went to Carlos Marmol, who blew the save but got the win. Carlos Zambrano has flown to St. Louis ahead of the team in anticipation of his first start off the disabled list tomorrow night. Gallagher ahead in the count, 1-2, facing Rowan for the first time. Sean has faced the Giants one other time. It was kind of an interesting appearance. He got a save on July 18th of last year at Wrigley Field in a 12-1 win. I thought, that's interesting. Well, it was a 4-inning save. Off the glove of Derek Lee. And that should be a base hit for Rowan.
Ball was hit crisply to the opposite field. Sometimes you can get fooled when you're the opposite field infielder and a guy hits a ball this hard the other direction. That ball's actually off the plate away. Nice swing by Aaron Rowan, very short and quick. Able to drive that ball right past Derek Lee at first base.
John Bowker playing first. You know, it goes back to a conversation we had before we hit the air. We did that game last year. Cubs won 12-1. Gallagher with a 4-inning save, his first and only major league save to this point. I have no recollection of it other than the fact that I see the numbers in front of me. When you do 150, 160 games a year, they do tend to blend together a little bit.
Oh yeah, and it seems like, you know, even if you do remember one, there's going to be subsequent games that are more exciting or have bigger plays or bigger hits or bigger pitching performances that tend to push some of them into the back of your memory. I mean, baseball lends itself to that. I mean, we talk about it all the time. You can't dwell on the past. There's nothing you can do to change it. Just concentrate on what you have to do today and look forward to the future.
And he went around. That levels the count at 2 apiece.
Like when I was managing the Diamondbacks, people always ask you these very deep questions. What's your managerial philosophy? And I got mine from a bumper sticker I saw one time that said, not what if, but what now. I think that's a great attitude to take as a manager or as a baseball player.
Feathered foul. Nice catch by the ball dude.
And you can sit all day and, well, what if we had gotten a leadoff hit in that inning? What if the pitcher had gotten the bunt down? What if we had turned that double play? You'll drive yourself crazy if you take that kind of approach to managing. So not what if, but what now? What do we need to do now?
And I'm sure occasionally it's more like, what now?
Oh, yeah.
Diving stop by Ramirez. He's going to pick it up, throw to first. Got him. Nicely done. Rowan now at second base. A nice play by Ramirez just to get it out.
Another hard hit ball to the opposite field. Good quick swing by Bowker. Ramirez does a nice job of just smothering that ball, getting the out at first base. We might have had a play at second, but it was going to be very, very close. And if there's any doubt in your mind, make sure you get the out at first base.
The pitch to Jose Castillo. Fair, and the Giants are going to tie it. As Rowan will come around to score. Castillo head first into second. Now, he kept the Giants alive as a pinch hitter with 2 outs in the 9th. Last night he tripled off Kerry Wood. He would end up being stranded 90 feet away as the Cubs would hang on by a run, but he doubles home the tying run in his first at bat today.
Rowan and Bowker drove their balls to the opposite field. Castillo was looking to left and hit the ball to right. This is an accident right here, but he dunks it out there where nobody can get to it for an RBI double.
Now the scuffling Omar Vizquel, who is now 0 for his last 17. Lincecum bats lefty, protects his pitching elbow. Hitting $156 with 3 RBIs. Runner at third, 2 outs. Gallagher still from the stretch with a runner at third base. A little bit outside, 1-1. Talked about it briefly on the pregame. A wild finish in Phoenix today as the Diamondbacks scored 6 times and beat the Brewers 6-5. All their runs in the 9th as Lincecum knocks in his 4th run of the year. It's 2-1. And that'll bring Larry Rothschild to the mound.
Came on a breaking ball inside part of the plate, off speed just enough that Lincecum was able to catch up and get the bat head out in front of home plate. A hard ground ball through the right side to drive home another run.
Milwaukee went to the bottom of the 9th with a 5-0 lead. But 3 relievers could not even get an out. Mota, Schaus, and Torres. And we called Elias, and they told us the last time that happened, a team being down 5 at least, going to the bottom of the 9th and winning the game in that inning without recording an out, the Red Sox back on April 10th, 1998. Trailing Seattle 7-2 to the bottom of the 9th. Boston would win it 9-7 on a Mo Vaughn grand slam. So it doesn't happen that often. First time in 10 years. So the Diamondbacks helping out the Cubs.
I think it doesn't happen that often because normally if you're coming back in a ball game like that, at some point you get the tying run on base with nobody outs and you're tempted to give up the run with a sacrifice bunt. So I think that's what makes it so unusual.
Fred Lewis hits a slicing drive. Edmonds is going to have to chase it all the way to the barrier. Lincecum is going to be sent by the third base coach Tim Flannery. He's going to make it. Maybe a little bit of a mistake by Lincecum, who actually was looking over his right shoulder at the ball while his third base coach was frantically saying, "Look at me." But it didn't matter. He was able to score easily. It's 3-1.
Well, that ball just continued to slice away from Jim Edmonds out in center field. And then to compound it, once he gets back to the warning track and runs the ball down, he has a hard time getting it out of his glove. And there you see Lincecum looking over his right shoulder at the play out in left center field rather than picking up the third base coach. Willie Mays could do that, but very few players are able to look back over their shoulder while they're running the bases.
Well, with 2 outs especially. Well, it's a third base coach's job to help you. Usually pitchers can get away with that, though. Position players might get scolded, but I don't think anybody's going to tell Lincecum anything about his base running today. Popped up by Durham. And Soto dropped it. It's a fair ball. That had trouble all over it. With the way the wind's blowing, you have the sun today. And they get their 4th run. And I don't know if he ever did get a glove on it.
That's a ball that Aramis Ramirez has got to come in and take charge right there. That's a tough play for a catcher, backing into the infield with all that catcher's gear on. Ramirez is having trouble with the sun as well. Maybe he never saw it, but boy, I'll tell you, as a catcher on a play like that, you're just waiting to hear those words from your corner infielder that they're going to make the play. Really tough chance for Giovanni Soto.
Barely touched the edge of the glove. It's an error on Soto, and it's now 4-1. So now Gallagher will try to recover and get out of this inning. Durham runs, and that hit the bat of Wynn, so it's a foul ball.
We'll see if Tim Lincecum's trip around the bases takes anything out of him when he goes back out to take the ball for the top half of the third inning. Seems to be a pretty well-conditioned young athlete. I don't think it's going to bother him too much, but we'll have to see.
Well, that error on Soto is a tough reminder to this entire team defensively here in the late afternoon hours that you take nothing for granted. I mean, as you said, this is a kind of day where you probably want to have 3 guys in the vicinity.
Everybody chase everything. The sun, the wind, a lot of different factors to deal with here at the ballpark today.
They pitch out, and they're going to get it. So Soto's able to throw out Ray Durham, but a tough inning for Gallagher as the Giants get 4 runs to take a 3-run lead.
I see skies of blue.
Some discover it through the wonder of others. Some experience it volunteering their time, while others find it through the expectation of tomorrow. It's wellness. And at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, yours means the world to us. Because when it all comes together, we want to give you the confidence to experience wellness everywhere.
What a wonderful world.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
So, you're a green person, but which shade? Confusing, isn't it? Well, True Values Color Made Simple can help. With exclusive tools, trained professionals, and expert advice, finding your color will always be simple. Now let's talk purple. True Values Color Made Simple.
Meeting the challenge since 1940.
Have you seen the selection of trailers at the Trailer Depot in Clinton? The area's best kept secret, and the best prices on trailers are at the Trailer Depot. Buy new, buy used, or rent. Trailer Depot has any trailer you need. We even make repairs, sell parts, and get your vehicle ready to tow. Knowing what you're towing keeps us growing at Trailer Depot. Behind you on the road and ahead of the competition. 7th Avenue South in Clinton.
Hey, Cubs fans, Cubs games are now on Comcast Sportsnet on demand. Comcast customers go to digital channel $9.99 and look for Comcast Sportsnet and watch Cubs games on demand. Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Cubs games on demand, not available in all areas. Well, speaking of what if versus what now, you need to erase the memory of a bad bottom of the second. Trying to get back to work here offensively against Lincecum. 1 and 2 on the pitcher Gallagher, Johnson, and then Fukudome here in the 3rd inning. One of those runs was unearned. It was a weird inning, Bob. It just kind of got away from Sean. The big hit was the Lincecum RBI single with 2 outs. 3-2 pitch. And that'll be out of play. Gallagher looking for his first major league hit. He's 0 for 9, including 0 for 8 this season. Called strike 3. Six straight sent down by Lincecum. What do they call that? Tacking? Tack left, tack right.
Sailing looks like a lot of work.
It is.
Only a fishing boat with a big 200 horsepower motor on it.
Except for Bill Murray and What About Bob? Just strapped into the. Yeah. I sail.
That's one of those amphibious deals. Yeah.
Speaking of amphibious, I have a story about Pat. It's called, his last name is Venditti. That's how you pronounce it. The ambidextrous. Diving stop by Bowker. And he gets the out. 3-1. Anytime I hear amphibious, I think ambidextrous. They have changed a rule. Venditti, we've talked about him before. He pitches from both sides of the mound. 20th round pick of the Yankees. And they have changed the rules, or at least tweaked the rules. The Professional Baseball Umpire Corporation has now released its official rules with regard to ambidextrous pitchers. And it's pretty interesting. The spirit of the rule is this, that the batter starts every at bat under at least one assumption. That is, the pitcher's either left-handed or right-handed. Doesn't necessarily know what he's going to throw, but that's the one thing you can count on. So an ambidextrous pitcher has to visually show the umpire, the batter, and any runners on base which hand he's going to use to throw. And then the batter can decide from which side of the plate he wants to bat. They can swap hands, both pitcher and batter, once per at bat. So there you have it.
There you go.
And the key to all of that is who has the last decision, and in this case it's the batter. Hit foul by Kosuke.
I mean, assuming that the young man is equally effective right-handed and left-handed, what a tremendously huge advantage that is. You know, you give up a base hit as a right-handed pitcher, so now you're going to go left-handed, so you can hold that runner on first base a lot better. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of different advantages to be gained by being able to throw equally effectively with either arm.
A pitcher has to throw one pitch to the hitter before any switch is allowed by either player. This according to the MLB.com story. And after one pitch is thrown, the pitcher and batter can swap positions one time per at bat. How about this one? If an injury occurs, the pitcher can change arms but can't use that arm again for the remainder of the game. So it's almost like you come out due to injury, but you stay in.
Stay in, yeah. Give me the righty. Well, with an ambidextrous pitcher and a switch hitter at the plate, one at bat could go on for hours if they didn't amend the rules to make sure that the game would continue to move forward.
And they had an at bat like that that kind of forced the change. I think they had quite a delay while the umpires got together to figure out what are we going to do here. 2-2 to Kosuke is outside. That was a fastball. 3-2. Lee on deck. He'll only bat if Kosuke can get on base. Online voting has closed for the All-Star game, and we'll find out on Sunday if Kosuke beat out Ryan Braun for one of the starting spots in the outfield. Bowker got to it, but Lincecum didn't get over to first base. And Fukudome is on with what should be a hit. No, an error on Bowker. All right.
Well, he did boot the ball initially. If he comes up with it cleanly, Bowker probably takes it himself to first base. But once he booted it, he needed some help from his pitcher, and Lincecum got caught spectating that time.
Wasn't the easiest play as that ball kicked up on Bowker. We've seen 3 errors already, 2 from the Giants and a big one for the Cubs as they got their 4th run. The Giants did in the 2nd.
That was kind of an odd looking pitch, a 90-mile-an-hour straight fastball, just for Lincecum, kind of a BP fastball. Just kind of lobbed it up there trying to get ahead, strike 1.
Chopper up the middle. Vizquel will field. Durham covering second. And the Cubs are finished. 2-out error, no runs. They trail this one 4-1.
Who could that be? Oh, wow. I'm there for you, buddy. That was Brad. He really wants to vent.
We should go.
Ready to vent?
Let's vent.
Let's vent.
Let's vent.
Introducing the vented wide mouth can from Coors Light. It lets in air for a smooth, refreshing pour.
Is he okay?
I think we'll be venting a little longer.
For us brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
America, you declared your independence from interest rates and the response was overwhelming. The Chevy 72-hour sale has been extended. Time is running out to break free from interest payments for 6 full years with 0% financing for 72 months. Choose from thousands of Chevys, like the HHR, with an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon on the highway. The Chevy 72-hour sale. See your local Chevy dealer today.
What your engine feels, you feel. And when it's running clean, you feel it. Which is why we developed full synthetic Pennzoil Platinum with active cleansing agents to clean out up to 46% of sludge in the first oil change. That's 3 times better than the leading conventional oil. Pennzoil Platinum Motor Oil. Our ultimate clean for your ultimate feeling. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Sunday, Lou Piniella and the Cubs blaze a trail down I-55 as they collide in a Midwestern showdown against Tony La Russa and the St. Louis Cardinals, followed by Lowe's Cubs post-game live. Cubs Cards in HD, Sunday at 1:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Bottom of the 3rd, the Giants scored 4 times off Sean Gallagher to take the lead. And he faces switch batter Randy Wynn. Swung on and missed. That one caught the outside corner. 1-2.
Well, to get back to our what if, what now conversation for Sean Gallagher, what now is put some zeros on the board. Give your offense at least a chance to get back in this ball game against Lincecum. That ball pulled foul down the right field line. I mean, I think that's every pitcher's goal. Every inning they go out there and step on that rubbers to put a 0 on the board. But after a 4-run second, all you can do at this point forward is to try to stop this Giants offense and give your team a chance to crawl back into the game.
Hit well to left. Johnson's going to go back, reach up, and make the catch.
Can you imagine watching your first place Cubs from the front row at Wrigley Field? Well, now you can. Visit Cubs.com and click on the CBOE front row seats auction to bid on tickets in the front row behind home plate and along the first baseline. The auction for the Red Series July 8th through the 10th is going on now. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action and cheer your favorite Cubs from the very front row.
Benji Molina is going to make it out on one pitch. A couple of fly balls to left to begin the bottom of the third. A lot of sunshine today. We're going to see those shadows here in the next few innings, I would think. None on the field right now, but I have to think in the next half hour or so that'll be the case. Rowan started the 4-run second with a single. Ball that glanced off the glove of Derek Lee and into right. He would later score on the Castillo RBI double. And he waves at strike three. Nice inning. A shutdown frame for Sean Gallagher. They go down 1-2-3 for the first time. It's 4-1 Giants.
Did you get the file I sent?
Yeah, let me put you on hold for a sec. All right, I'm back.
Trying to create your own fun?
Chili's.
Welcome to Chili's.
Pepper in some imagination with Chili's new Create Your Own Fajitas. Start with tender steak, marinated chicken, or garlic lime shrimp. Then get creative with your choice of toppings like shredded jack cheese and thick-cut bacon. Your possibilities are endless. Chili's, pepper in some sizzle, pepper in some fun.
Imagine yourself in the best-selling car in America. Lease the 31-mile-per-gallon rated Toyota Camry for just $209 a month, or get 2.9% APR financing. Toyota, a great way to keep moving forward.
Dex, I need an internet cafe. Surf and Perk. It's open 24 hours.
Dex, I broke a heel.
Oh, love your souls. 5 blocks down. Repairs while you wait.
There you are. Dex, I need to find Millinger's Flower Shop.
Chestnut and Browning. Can't miss it.
Dex, you know everything. Come on.
Oh, no.
The AT&T Real Yellow Pages, published by Dex, your most complete local info.
After the game, stay tuned for Lowe's Cubs Postgame Live. Analysis with Dan Plesac. Highlights, press conferences, and interviews from the stadium. Lowe's Cubs Postgame Live. After the game on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Swing and a miss by Aramis Ramirez. Here's a 1-strike pitch from Lincecum. That's hit foul. Well, we're just on the big board here at San Francisco. That was nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Do definitely appreciate that. And I like the highlights. They picked all the good stuff. Throwing guys out at second base. You'd think I was a pretty good player watching that highlight reel.
All-Star in 1984.
I think it's also a little bit of a reflection of kind of the state of the Giants team right now when they keep dredging up the old timers. And we do appreciate it, all of us old guys, but I think if their team was playing a little better on the field, we probably wouldn't spend so much time dwelling on the past here in San Francisco.
It was a nasty breaking ball, and Aramis didn't agree with that call by Paul Emmel. You be the judge.
Well, too close to take with 2 strikes. I know that. Not sure if Aramis thought it was up when it crossed the front of the plate or away, but he didn't like it one bit.
That one got away from him.
You know, that's one thing. You talk to Dave Righetti, the pitching coach for the Giants, or Mike Krukow, our buddy in the booth next door. The guys who know a little bit about pitching, they say that Lincecum has really only scratched the surface. He's not very much for command. If you'll notice throughout this game, he rarely hits his target, but his stuff is so good he can get away with missing his target. If he develops the command to go along with the stuff that he has, he is going to be a really good one.
They have made a scoring change. The ball Kosuke hit to Bowker in the top of the third originally was ruled an error on Bowker. They now have given Kosuke a hit, and the reason was there was nobody covering first base. So the thought was, even if he got to it cleanly, because Lincecum didn't get over, Kosuke picking up a hit. Moved his hands. Ball 4. First walk given up by Lincecum, and it'll bring up Giovanni Soto. Time for the Aflac trivia question. Who led the San Francisco Seals to a 1935 Pacific Coast League title, batting .398? It was not Bob Brenly.
Thank you. I could venture a guess at that one. If it's the person I think it is, he's a native of San Francisco.
We'll have the answer coming up in the bottom of the inning. As we showed you on the Menards Big Lumber stat, Gio's had a very nice offensive road trip. Came up with a big 2-run single last night in the 7th. That made it 5-2. Unfortunately, the Giants would tie it on the Durham 3-run homer in the bottom of the 7th, but then the Cubs would win it on a Fontenot home run in the 8th. Swing and the miss. Strike 3. It's an old and sometimes tired cliche, but it really does work, and we used it early on, and that is get to this guy early, because he has gotten very comfortable out there on the mound and now has a 3-run lead. Nobody's put a ball in play this inning. 2 strikeouts and a walk. Hey, while we try to avoid cliches, if it's appropriate, we're not afraid to just drop it in there.
That's why they're cliches.
Some of them work.
Yeah, they fit. I thought it was interesting talking to Mark DeRosa today about his approach against Barry Zito, and he said right away, well, I know I can't hit his curveball, so I'm looking for a fastball from the middle of the plate in early in the count, and when I get to 2 strikes, I just have to go to battle. Pretty much the same thing for Lincecum today. Tough to hit that curve.
Win with a long run, and he wasn't able to get there.
And I think that's an intelligent approach for a hitter. If a guy has a devastating pitch, in the case of the Barry Zito curveball, the Tim Lincecum curveball, and you don't think you can hit it, then why bother even looking for that pitch? Why bother even swinging at that pitch until you get to 2 strikes? Of course, then it would behoove you to make sure you put a good pass on any fastballs that you see in the sequence.
He has struck out 6 and walked 1. First-round pick out of the University of Washington in 2006. Check swing, and he went. Home plate umpire Paul Emmel made that call. Did not look down to first. He made the call himself. And 3 Cubs strike out in the inning. They leave 1, still 4-1 Giants.
When a major hospital wanted to add on to their benefits package at no direct cost to the company, their very first word was... Aflac. Find out more at forbusiness.com.
Hey Cubs fans, are you looking to get tickets to the hottest Cubs games this year? Visit Cubs.com and click on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of Cubs.com. Don't miss all the fun and excitement at the friendly confines with StubHub. There's always a ticket available to a Cubs game.
I have the greatest job in the world. I've rounded up cattle, sheep, and grandchildren. I've shown again and again why I'm a best friend and a respected colleague. I'm not a pet. I'm a member of the family. I have not, nor will I ever be, in a dog show. I've never worn a leash, just like my master.
You're out here for a reason. So are we. Tractor Supply Company. The stuff you need out here.
Quikrete Concrete. For over 65 years, it's been used by just about everyone for just about everything. Quikrete. It's what America's made of.
Time to answer the Aflac trivia question. Who led the minor league San Francisco Seals to a 1935 Pacific Coast League title? Batting .398.
Jolton Joe DiMaggio.
154 RBIs. Wow. Was the MVP in 1935. The Seals played in the PCL from 1903 to 57 before moving to Phoenix. The charter members of the Pacific Coast League, according to Wikipedia, the Los Angeles Angels, the Portland Beavers, the Oakland Oaks, the Sacramento Solons, I believe, S-O-L, Solons,
yeah.
and the Seattle Indians, along with the Seals. Check swing, little pop-up, and it's caught by Terrio. Bowker's out.
Well, for years, the Pacific Coast League was the preferred AAA league for players on their way to the major leagues or perhaps on their way back down and eventually out of the game. A lot of warm weather cities and very dry climates. The ball carried extremely well. The infields would get hard. Pitchers might not have liked the Coast League so much, but then you had the teams up in the Pacific Northwest that kind of evened things out. The thick, heavy marine air. Thick infield grass, very tough to get base hits through that grass. But the real key was the trip to Hawaii every year. San Diego Padres had their affiliate over in Hawaii in the days that I played in the Pacific Coast League, and that was a tough trip. Go over there and play 4 or 5 or 6 games, and you just hope to get a hit.
It was a long trip. Terrio scoops it up. Castillo's out, 2 away. So the Giants played their first 2 years here at Seals Stadium, 58 and 59. Spring training home, 761 miles from here. Candlestick Park opened for baseball in 1960. Terrio again, busy inning. He gets Vizquel. So Gallagher with a perfect frame for the second straight inning. 4-1 San Francisco.
The Arby's Rescue Brigade trains for the 2-for-4 beef and cheddar deal.
Arby's beef and cheddar, now 2 for 4. Arby's beef and cheddar, now 2 for 4. Gotta come right in and get some more. Gotta come right in and get some more. Beef and cheddar tastes oh so nice, and 2 for 4 is one great price.
2 for 4 beef and cheddars? Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Arby's is saving the world from ordinary fast food with our 2-for-4 deal on the beef and cheddar. Made with our classic roast beef and smothered in savory cheddar cheese sauce. A deal so delicious you'll say, I'm thinking Arby's.
If it's got a motor. That's our slogan here at Clinton Motor Works. And what's it mean? Well, we have one of the area's best selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Oh yeah, and the cruising coolers. How great is that? A 13-mile-an-hour cooler to ride. Just another reason to stop in and see what's going on. Now let's talk warranty. We have the area's only lifetime engine warranty on most all the vehicles we sell. That's right, your engine blows, you get it fixed for free. That's why people do business with us. For your next great sales and finance experience, we'll see you soon at Clinton Motor Works.
If it's got a motor.
When you need your vehicle repaired, look no further than River City Pipe Vendors. Why? Other than auto body, River City Pipe Vendors can repair anything and everything, from oil changes to transmission and engine overhauls. River City Pipe Vendors is one of the only places that repairs everything. The same technician will always repair your vehicle and will know your vehicle. No one is on commission. River City Pipe Vendors tells it like it is. Trust Clinton's own full-service repair facility. Trust River City Pipe Vendors.
Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox. Comcast Sportsnet. Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Aflac. Ask about it at work. And by the Toyota Tundra. Visit whytundra.com to find out why the Toyota Tundra is a great way to keep moving forward.
One of our favorite stops in the major leagues, San Francisco. Great walking city. Lots of hills downtown. Incredible views.
Rice-A-Roni, what else could you ask for?
One and one on Ryan Theriot. Lincecum with 7 strikeouts, and he's 1-2 on the Cubs' number 8 hitter today. Theriot, Gallagher next, and then back to the top, and Reed Johnson, who came off the disabled list today. Eric Patterson was optioned back to AAA Iowa. That's foul. So Eric Patterson, with a lot of frequent flyer miles, just finished his 3rd stint with the big league Cubs. Had that big weekend series, 2 games when he came back against the White Sox at Wrigley Field. Bowker can't get it, base hit. Eric had a tough day on the south side and left. And I'm sure, Bob, part of the instructions when he went back to AAA was to continue to work on that outfield play. That's going to be a big key for Eric Patterson to continue to increase his versatility defensively. Gallagher takes ball 1 high.
Boy, tough duty here trying to put down a sac bunt against Tim Lincecum. We talked about that big bending curve ball. That's tough to bunt successfully into fair territory, and also that high fastball is one you're more likely to pop up into the air.
Pops that one up, just as you said it.
Yeah, if you have to put down a sac bunt, you'd much prefer to be facing a sinker ball pitcher. It's a lot easier to hit the top half of the ball, get that bunt down on the ground. When a guy throws a lot of high 4-seam fastballs, you really have to concentrate on getting on top of the baseball, and that time Gallagher caught the bottom part of the baseball, popped it up to Bowker at first base.
So Theriot still at first, and Johnson looks at ball 1. Lincecum now will fire to first. Foul.
I think I talked about it when we played Tim Lincecum in the past. A lot of physical similarities to Roy Oswalt of the Houston Astros. No mechanical similarities at all as far as the way they pitch, but both slight of build and both can generate a tremendous amount of arm speed and velocity on that fastball.
Maybe put Pedro Martinez in that category.
Yep.
Johnson almost came out of his shoes on that changeup, 1-2.
He doesn't throw a lot of those, but it's a very effective pitch when he does throw it. You have a tendency to want to start that bat a little soon because of that fastball in the mid to upper 90s. And if he can throw that changeup anywhere near the zone, he's likely to get a lot of swinging strikes.
Terrio runs, and it's pulled in the air. Terrio got to second base, but is able to get back. Never did go by the bag. So Kosuke with 2 outs. Terrio began the inning with that base hit. He's still at first. It's the only hit for the Cubs. I should say the second hit for the Cubs, if you count the Kosuke infield single, since they scored their run in the first. Too low, 1-1. Get well wishes to Orland Quick of Davenport, Iowa. Orland, 84 years old, lifelong Cubs fan. Hope you're feeling better. Also, happy 90th birthday to Dub Carson. Never misses a game. Got a nice email from Amy Pullen and the entire Pullen family. And they're pulling for the Cubs.
I like it.
Got an email from Scott Hires from Hampton, South Carolina. Wanted us to wish his grandmother a happy birthday. 91, Charlotte Hires, happy birthday. She thinks Len is a cutie pie. Isn't that nice?
We all do.
Just got a piece. Third time Lincecum has faced the Cubs. Saw them twice last year. 1 loss, no wins. And a 2.51 ERA. He's working with a 4-1 advantage today. And a long look at his catcher Molina. Now he's ready to pitch. Another foul.
And these are the kind of long battles we were used to seeing from Kosuke Fukudome. Once he gets to that 2-strike count, just continues to foul off pitch after pitch after pitch, giving that opposing pitcher an opportunity to make a mistake that he can hit hard somewhere.
And he steps off the back of the rubber. Molina peering into his dugout. Looks like he wants a fastball in tight. Here it is. Rowand blocking the sun with his glove, and he has it. Leadoff single by Terrio, but it doesn't result in any run. Still 4-1 Giants.
My country, 'tis of the sweet land of liberty, of the I see.
This 4th of July, the people of Southwest Airlines join the people of the United States of America as we celebrate our independence.
From every mountain side, let freedom ring.
You are now free to celebrate your birthday, America.
We have a code blue.
Code what?
Code blue? Code blue.
Code blue. Code blue.
Divide by the total sales, you'll see how we came up with the 10%.
Code blue.
Code blue.
The cold activated bottle from Coors Light. The mountains on the label turn blue when your beer is as cold as the Rockies.
Code what?
Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
America, you declared your independence from interest rates, and the response was overwhelming. The Buick Pontiac GMC 72-hour sale has been extended. Time is running out to break free from interest payments for 6 full years with 0% financing for 72 months. Choose from thousands of Buicks, Pontiacs, and GMCs, like the G6 sedan. With an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon on the highway, the Buick Pontiac GMC 72-hour sale. See your Buick Pontiac GMC dealer today.
From the Comcast Sportsnet studios, it's a GMC Sports Update.
Hi, everyone. Chris Bowden with you. Next week, Derrick Rose makes his Bulls debut in the NBA Summer League in Orlando. I'll have daily reports on Sports Night and Sports Rise starting Monday, July 7th. First Summer League game is Monday when Rose and the Bulls take on the Miami Heat. Now back to more Cubs baseball with Len and Bob in San Francisco.
Thanks, Chris. It's been one bad inning for Sean Gallagher, a 4-run second. And he gave up a hit to Tim Lincecum in that inning with 2 outs to keep it alive. In fact, Lincecum drove in a run. He'll ground out here, and Lincecum has lived up to his billing today.
Well, he certainly has. Electric stuff out there on the mound. Just seems to be very, very poised, very mature for his years out there on the mound.
Now back to the top for Sean Gallagher. The Cubs will head to St. Louis for a big weekend series. After this one, they're 2.5 up on the Cardinals currently. Seven straight sent down by Gallagher. That's since the error on Soto. With Durham at the plate. Lewis batting, and then Durham. Inside, 2-0. Other action today. The Dodgers beat the Houston Astros 5-2. It was Billingsley over Backey. Ethier and Loney hit home runs for the Dodgers. So there's still a game and a half out after Arizona scored 6 in the 9th with no outs to beat the Brewers 6-5. 3-1. Phillies leading again at Atlanta 2-0. Updated standings. Milwaukee now 5 back. In the Central as Lewis walks for the second time. He's had a good day. 2 walks, an RBI triple, and a run. Washington leading at Cincinnati 2-1. They play the 5th there. Florida's at Colorado 0-0 in the bottom of the first. They haven't yet started in St. Louis. Pelfrey and Boggs. Mitchell Boggs is 3-0 for the Cardinals. Pelfrey trying to even up his record. He's 5-6.
You know, Len, there's always a player or two in the opposing lineup that you'd prefer not to put on base via the walk, and Fred Lewis is one of those guys for the Giants. They don't have a lot of team speed, and they don't run the bases that aggressively, but Fred Lewis leads this team with 14 stolen bases this season, and obviously that's going to divert some of Sean Gallagher's attention away from Ray Durham at the plate over to the runner at first base. I guess just to illustrate my point a little more, if you walk Benji Molina, you don't have to worry too much about him trying to steal second base. But if you walk Fred Lewis or Ray Durham or Randy Wynn, now you're going to have to pay attention to those base runners over there at first.
Ramirez even with a bag at third. Lee holding on the runner. Lewis back in plenty of time. Giants are near the bottom in run scoring in the National League. They're 13th among the 16 teams. Last in the majors with 55 home runs, even though they hit 2 big ones last night, including the Durham game tying blast off Carlos Marmol. They've been in a lot of very close ball games this year, tied for the most one-run decisions in the National League. 32. They're 17 and 15. Cubs pitch out. Lewis was not running. The Cubs are 13 and 13 in one-run decisions. Got back to 500 in that category last night. Now Lewis goes. They have a shot at him. Didn't get it. One bounce throw is a little bit on the shortstop side.
Better throw might have gotten him at second base. Gio got rid of it quickly, but unfortunately pulled that throw to the shortstop side of the bag on a hop. Terrio tried to get the tag down and then keep it on Fred Lewis, hoping he'd come off the bag, but Lewis was able to put that left hand down just in time.
Meantime, 3-1 on Durham. Here's the pitch. 3-2. Jose Escaño is going to head out to the bullpen. He could end up going back to the minors depending on what the Cubs do roster wise. They'll have to make another move when Zambrano's activated tomorrow. And left-hander Neil Kotz is now with him. Fouled back. Still 3-2 on Durham. Win on deck. Pulled high in the air. Kosuke over through the bullpen on the mound, and it hits the sidewall untouched. A little treacherous over there, but it's really not any worse than it's going to be at Wrigley Field, so he's kind of used to it.
He's kind of used to it, but that looks like a Cubs team meeting down there in the bullpen. You got two catchers, two pitchers, a coach, and a guy backing up the catcher so they don't get hit by batted balls. A lot to deal with for Kosuke.
Another 3-2. Two hopper handled by DeRosa. Runner at third, 2 outs. Wynn comes up 0 for 2 in the game. Big swing and a miss. Cubs are 18 and 24 on the road. 51 and 34 overall. Only team in the National League with at least 50 wins. 20 and 6 against this Western Division. And a foul tip strikeout to end the inning. Lewis ends up stranded at third base. It's still Giants 4, Cubs 1 after 5.
Let me get $10 on pump 3.
All right.
Make that $7 on 3. Oh. Make it $2. on 3.
Wait a minute.
And 64 cents on number 5, please.
The new bigger double cheeseburger, just $1.59. AM, PM, too much good stuff.
Hancock, 4 stars.
Would you want a cookie?
Rolling Stone raves Hancock is hugely entertaining.
People love you.
Do I look like I care what people think? Celebrate the 4th with Will Smith in Hancock. Rated PG-13. Now playing in theaters everywhere.
Tonight, do the mojito with the refreshingly cool taste of the Bacardi Mojito.
There are more than 3,100 points to scrutinize. 3,100 digitally calibrated, laser-inspected welds, fittings, connections, and finishes on the RX to make sure it's absolutely flawless. Visit your Lexus dealer today for an exclusive look at how nothing else is built like a Lexus RX. Lease the 2009 RX all-wheel drive for $459 a month for 36 months for $35.59 due at signing.
Sunday, Lou Piniella and the Cubs blaze a trail down I-55 as they collide in a Midwestern showdown against Tony La Russa and the St. Louis Cardinals, followed by Lowe's Cubs post-game live. Cubs Cards in HD, Sunday at 1:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Time now for our Coors Light freeze cam. Talked about the extension Lincecum gets. Watch that back foot. He still has a baseball.
Yeah, and he's a good 10 inches to a foot off of that rubber. That long stride that you talked about earlier in the game gets him a little bit closer to that hitter, makes that mid-90s fastball look a little quicker than it really is.
Well, he starts that windup with his foot touching the rubber, but good foot off that rubber by the time he lets go of the baseball. 1-0 on Derek Lee. Make it 2-0, a good hitter's count. Derek with the only RBI for the Cubs, a single in the first inning, sending Reed Johnson across home plate. And that one drilled into the left field corner. Should be a double for Lee. Number 21 on the year.
Boy, you'd love to see the Cubs come back and either tie it up or take a lead in this inning. Those shadows that we talked about are sneaking their way up toward home plate as we speak. Derek Lee picking on a 2-0 fastball right down the heart of the plate and hooks it down into that left field corner for a leadoff double. Yeah, this may be the last inning where the Cubs have really good visibility at the plate.
Got to get Aramis going, coming back after missing 3 games. And after a rough weekend on the south side, Bob, it really looked like the White Sox decided they were just going to pitch him in. They mixed it up, but they went in a lot more over the weekend than they did the previous weekend when he crushed them for 4 home runs.
Well, they tried to go away the previous weekend at Wrigley with fastballs and breaking balls, and he just punished them. That's all gets back to those adjustments and the cycles and rhythms of the season. They'll start pitching Ramirez inside more and more often until he proves he can turn on that pitch once again, start jerking some of them down that left field line, and then they'll try to go back away again.
So that Midas pitch count, Lincecum up in the low 90s here in the 6th. Now this is where you really want to do some damage. You have the heart of the order coming up. Runner at second. No outs, and it's 3-0 on Ramirez. Make it 3-1. That's Jim Edmonds in the on-deck circle. Kick and a pitch. Broke his bat. It's a fair ball. Backhanded by Castillo. He's going to bounce the throw, and he'll get it.
Well, once again, just speaks to how good Lincecum's stuff is. Went on a 3-1 count to a proven run producer. You can break his bat with a fastball. That tells you something about the fastball you're featuring that day.
Yeah, he just doesn't give in. What's the batting average? 3-1. It's under 100, right?
Yeah, it was 077 on a 3-1 count. And I had walked a lot of batters on 3-1 counts. I think he kind of picks his spots. He picks his battles, when to go after that hitter and challenge on the 3-1 count, and when to go ahead and put him on and face the next guy with a fresh count.
Edmonds has faced Lincecum before. He's now 0 for 6. One ball and 2 strikes. Next pitch will be number 100 for Lincecum. Pulled past Durham. Lee had to make sure it got through. I was talking with the coaches the other day, Bob, about those line drives as a base runner. Derek Lee did exactly what you're supposed to do. That's basically stand flat-footed and be ready to go back to your bag. That's why he wasn't able to score. That was textbook. That's how you're supposed to do it. And the only guys got doubled off over the weekend.
The only time you can get a good jump on a line drive is if you are real sure where those infielders are positioned. For example, if a second baseman is cheating over toward the hole between first and second for a left-handed pull hitter, and the line drive is more back up the middle of the field, and that second baseman is playing over toward the hole, then it might be worth the risk of taking a chance of scoring on that ball. But you're absolutely right. The rule of thumb is to just freeze in your tracks, make the ball get through into the outfield.
It was Keiichi Yabu out in the bullpen, and Dave Righetti, the pitching coach who just went out to the mound. I know you're the expert on this date. Thought we'd mention it before we leave San Francisco. Tomorrow's the 25th anniversary of Dave Righetti's Yankee no-hitter on the 4th of July, 1983. Tying run is at the plate. Giovanni Soto. Lou Piniella was in left that day as Righetti threw the first Yankee no-hitter since Don Larson's perfect game in the World Series in 1956. Just missed. 2-0. Soto in a good spot here.
Boy, a good time to step on one right here, Gio. Tie this ball game up with the shadows creeping across home plate.
More action in the Giants pen. Left-hander Jack Tashner has now joined Yabu. That no-no for Righetti was against the Red Sox, a 4-0 win in 1983.
Lincecum got away with one right there. He just tried to roll a breaking ball up there in the middle of the plate for a called strike, and Gio fouled it back, had a good swing at it.
Fans are up 2-2. Big spot for both teams. A pitch to Soto, just able to nick that ball. We're at the corners, 1 out. We're in the 6th. Another 2-2. He buried that one, 3-2. Tough send here, Bob, with Edmonds at first because Lincecum's such a strikeout pitcher.
And you compound that with the fact that Jim Edmonds is not running at 100% right now. I got to believe you go station to station right here.
Edmonds is not running, and a swing and a miss. How about a changeup in the upper 80s? The power change right there. Wow.
Well, we talked about it earlier. You feel as a hitter like you need to get that bat started a little early to get to that fastball, and any changeup that's close to the strike zone is going to look just like his fastball. Unfortunately, Gio way out in front.
So it's up to DeRosa. Breaker for a strike. Tell you, the only good thing that's gone on here the last couple of innings is they've made Lincecum throw a lot of pitches. He's nearing 110. So DeRosa, who has already fanned twice, with some heavy lifting here. There's a drive by DeRosa, deep right center field, and it is going to get down. Lee is in. Edmonds coming around third base. He's going to score 4-3 on an 0-2 pitch. Mark DeRosa delivers. Got it up in that wind, right in the direction of the wind, in fact, the deepest part of the ballpark.
Tomahawks that pitch up and out over the plate. You could see the catcher Molina reaching up to catch that pitch. And of course, Lincecum supplies a lot of the power. All you have to do is get the barrel of the bat on the ball, and as you mentioned, got it up into the wind. That thing just continued to carry way out there to the 421 mark.
Easy play for Vizquel. He'll throw out Terrio, but a huge hit by Mark DeRosa on an 0-2. He drives in two, and the Cubs trail now by only a run.
The David Bruce Auto Center sells more new and used cars than anyone in the area. Hello, I'm Bruce Dickstein, and here are some reasons why.
A new 08 Pontiac G6 20th anniversary priced for only $14,988, and a new 08 Pontiac Grand Prix for only $18,775.
Remember, no one in the area sells more or gives you more for your trade.
And if credit has been a problem, see David Bruce for a second chance.
After the game, stay tuned for Lowe's Cubs Post-Game Live. Analysis with Dan Plesac. Highlights, press conferences, and interviews from the stadium. Lowe's Cubs Post-Game Live. After the game on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
I worked on a plane design in Morocco.
Our company helped build Lambeau Field.
I work for NASCAR.
If you're looking for an exciting career, you belong here.
Morrison Institute of Technology. If you need to tow it, Quad City Spring has it. Quad City Spring is the area's suspension, spring, truck accessory, and towing experts. From goosenecks and fifth wheels to every kind of hitch imaginable, including Blue Ox base plates and tow bars, strong as an ox. And Quad City Spring installs and services everything they sell. So tow it right. Get your ride to Quad City Spring. Quad City Spring, 34th Street at River Drive in Moline.
The home of the Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox. Comcast Sportsnet.
Cubs battle the Reds Thursday, July 10th. The game begins at 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 5,000 girls 14 and younger will get a limited edition American Girl doll-sized Chicago Cubs uniform. Compliments of Bank of America. Lou's going to go into the bullpen. Michael Wirtz is on. Sean Gallagher went 5 innings, gave up 4 hits, 4 runs, 3 were earned. He walked 2, struck out 2. Through 74 pitches. Bounced foul by Molina.
Just the one bad inning for Sean Gallagher in the ball game today. All 4 hits that he gave up were in that second inning when the Giants pushed across their 4 runs.
You alluded to it in the open. Cubs have to make a decision on Sean Gallagher, who might end up pitching out of the bullpen to finish up the first half, depending on what Lou and Larry Rothschild want to do. Sean Marshall is going to make a start over the weekend in St. Louis. He'll probably go on Sunday. Ted Lilly through a side session today, and he'll likely pitch on Saturday unless he needs an extra day. Terrio throws to first. Molina's retired for the 3rd time. Want to get a couple of lefties in there against the Cardinals, who have a better record versus right-handers. And they are just underway, hosting the Mets tonight. No score in the first.
Well, Len, I found that this day in baseball history that really caught my eye this morning. There's always good stuff going on in baseball history pretty much every day of the season, but I like this one.
All right.
Back in 1925, the Dodgers second baseman by the name of Milt Stock set a National League record. He had his 4th consecutive 4-hit game. 16 hits in 4 days.
Wow,
that's pretty impressive. Some guys can go all season, sometimes a whole career without getting a 4-hit game. This guy had 4 of them in a row.
What year? 25?
1925.
Would that have been the dead ball era?
It might have been 15 bunt base hits and a blooper that fell in. I don't know how he got his 16 hits, but that's impressive no matter what era.
Wow. Foul tip, strikeout. Soto able to hang on.
Rowan continues to struggle against that slider. Talked about all the problems he had against Ryan Dempster last night, striking out 3 times in a row, all coming on the slider, and that time Michael Wirtz got him on the slider.
Dead ball era was 1900 to 1919. And Babe Ruth became a power hitter. One on Bowker. For Michael, this is his first outing since Sunday night against the White Sox. And he goes 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. We go to the 7th. Good ball game here. Cubs trail by only a run.
The Chicago Cubs strongly encourage the use of public transportation. The CTA offers a variety of options, including the Red Line, which stops right at Wrigley Field at the Edison station. If you must drive, try the remote parking operation at DeVry University, located near the Edison and Rockwell intersection. The remote lot offers parking and an express bus for just $6. For more details, call the CTA hotline at 773-836-7000 or visit Cubs.com.
If ever you're not satisfied with one of our tires, please feel free to bring it back. Thank you. Discount Tire Company.
Low prices, more choices on the world's best brands like Michelin and B.F. Goodrich.
Show me what you tell me, now we sipping cold belly and we up inside the telly. Roll you jellies on your belly and that spread up on your pillow. Bobby all inside your middle. This got me flipping like hotcakes on the griddle.
Why is the Toyota Tundra Motor Trend's 2008 Truck of the Year? Because Tundras. Why is Tundra the full-size pickup that's easy on your budget? Because Tundras. And it's built by Toyota, the leader in fuel efficiency. Lease a new 2008 Toyota Tundra for $329 a month or get 0% APR for 60 months. Toyota Tundra. Find out more at whytundra.com.
Get Chicago's sports news nightly on Land Rover's Sports Night. Coming up tonight after Cubs post-game live, we'll catch up with Derek Rose after his first Summer League practice. Plus Cubs and Sox recaps. Join William and Mark for Land Rover's Sports Night tonight after Cubs post-game live only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Tim Lincecum warmed up but has now been removed. And it's a left-hander, Jack Tashner, instead. Mike Fontenot was announced as the pinch hitter. That's why Bochy left his starter in. And it will be Matt Merton instead. So Fontenot burned.
Eight strikeouts in the ball game for Lincecum today. They came on all of his pitches. That was on the big breaking ball. Another one on the breaking ball. Another one on the breaking ball. Got Aramis Ramirez looking at one on the outside part of the plate. A couple of change-ups for swinging strikes and check swings. There was a change-up to Giovanni Soto. Okay, it's hard not to be impressed by that young man. He's got great stuff, great composure out there on the mound, and I thought the Cubs did a pretty good job banging out 7 base hits against him in the ball game today. Unfortunately, they just couldn't seem to come up with that big one that they needed other than the Mark DeRosa 2-run double.
Yeah, I would agree. All in all, they get 3 runs off Lincecum, who was throwing a lot of strikes today. You've at least given yourself a chance. And now they'll go to work against the Giants bullpen here over the final 3 innings. Fontenot was announced, but now pulled back with the left-hander Tashner taking his final warm-up tosses. And instead he'll face Matt Merton. So Fontenot was hitting for Wirtz, and now Merton for Fontenot. And a base hit. That's a pinch hit single for Merton, and the tying run is on with nobody out.
Good start to the comeback here. Matt Merton jumps on that first pitch, lines it over Ray Durham's head into right field for a clean single.
Escanio and Marmol.
Well, this is another one of those situations, Len, and we've seen it happen several times already this year. You don't care who comes in and out of that Giants bullpen. Just get Tim Lincecum out of the ball game. No guarantees that the Cubs are going to bang the ball around against Jack Tashner, but you'd much rather face him than Tim Lincecum.
Bunted by Johnson. Tashner will pick it up. The throw is in time. I think that surprised Tashner, as Reed Johnson was able to deaden that ball right out in front of home plate, and it was a much longer run for Tashner than he probably originally thought. It is a sacrifice, and he was also trying to get on base. Well, that ball just died.
Yeah, boy, it looked like Benji Molina quit on that ball awfully quick behind home plate. Normally, that's a much easier play for the catcher coming out from behind home plate. Your momentum is taking you right down that first baseline to make the throw on to first.
I wish I could do that with my wedge. Just plop it right down. Actually, I do that when I'm not supposed to.
Timing is everything.
When it's unintentional. Couple of shots here to tie it up. Yeah, welcome to the Bay, Kosuke. Infield single in the third inning. 1 for 3 on the day, hitting second with Johnson back in the lineup leading off. Cubs starting this trip 2-4. They got swept on the south side against the White Sox. And they've grabbed 2 of the first 3 here in San Francisco. Cubs would like to get as hot as their Midwest League affiliate, the Peoria Chiefs. They've won 9 in a row, and they lead at Wisconsin 1-0 tonight. They have tied their franchise record with 9 straight. So Ryan Sandberg's club off to an excellent start in the second half. One-two to Kosuke, hit foul. I saw catcher Wellington Castillo, who's a Double-A, has gone on the DL with a right hand injury and will not require surgery. He's on the Futures Game World Team roster. I'm sure he's hoping to get back in time. Another 1-2, low and outside. Iowa manager Pat Listash will be on the World Team coaching staff. Lou Piniella will coach on Clint Hurdle's National League All-Star staff.
So the Cubs will be well represented in New York for the All-Star festivities.
Saw a headline, George Steinbrenner plans on attending the All-Star game at Yankee Stadium. Checked his swing. He'll go down to third. And then he held up 3-2.
No doubt. Boy, Giants giving Kosuke a lot of room in that gap in right center. This is just not something they do because they feel like shading him the opposite way. That's based on the hitting charts that the Giants staff has on Kosuke Fukudome and how their pitcher is supposed to pitch against him.
The 3-2 will do it again.
But if Tashner would happen to make a mistake on the inside part of the plate and Kosuke could split that gap in right center, it would be an easy triple.
Mertens singled to start the inning, then moved to second on the sacrifice bunt by Johnson. Second 3-2 pitch. That one bounced foul to the pull side. Red Sox leading in the Bronx over the Yankees 6-0. They're in the top of the 6th. Red Sox just got swept at Tampa Bay, so they're 3.5 out. Yankees are 7.5 back. Right now, that's a battle for second. Broke his bat. And he'll be thrown out by Durham. Merton now 90 feet away, but there are 2 outs. Everything's a hit at Harry Carey's legendary Italian steakhouse, voted best steakhouse in Chicago, located in Chicago, Rosemont, or Lombard. Call 773 Holy Cow or visit harrycarries.com for reservations. Bruce Bochy's going to take the ball from the left-hander Tashner. Heineken called to the pen. Keiichi Yabu, a right-hander, is in to face Derek Lee. Runner at third, 2 outs, 4-3 San Francisco.
I don't understand. Okay. With your new Elite checking account, we pay the ATM fees that you get charged by other banks. Make sense?
No.
Well, you know how other banks charge you ATM fees, right?
Yes.
Well, we take care of those.
You take care of
We
it?
pay them.
You pay them?
People seem to like it.
It's not just banking. It's National City.
It's summer, so what's dear old Dad doing? Commuting. I'm not sweating it, though. I opted for the AC seats. Worth every penny.
The Cadillac summer event kicks off with 0% APR financing for 72 months on most 2008 models. This offer ends July 7th.
For the first time in its history, Wrigley Field will host a minor league baseball game. The Road to Wrigley, presented by National City, will showcase Ryan Sandberg's Peoria Chiefs as they host the Kane County Cougars on Tuesday, July 29th. Don't miss this truly unique experience, complete with mascots like the Superstars and Berserk, along with plenty of in-game excitement. Kids 14 and under will even have the chance to run the bases after the game. To order tickets, visit Cubs.com today.
You don't have to be stuck with your old windows, siding, or doors. Replace them now with free installation from Feldco.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Keiichi Yabu will pitch for the Giants. He's had a busy series, scoreless. 9th inning last night. He did hit a batter. 2 scoreless innings Monday night in the opener. Also hit a batter that night, gave up 2 hits but no runs. He faces Derek Lee. Tying run is at third base. 2 outs. We're in the 7th. The pitch, swing and a miss.
Yabu has a variety of pitches he'll throw from a variety of different arm angles. Usually his out pitch is that split-fingered fastball if he gets to the 2-strike count.
Sweeping breaker, 0-2. Looked like horizontally that hit both corners of the plate. Struck him out. So he threw 3 pitches, all strikes to Derek Lee. They'll get up and stretch here at San Francisco. The Giants still lead 4-3.
So we got a sitter for 3 hours.
And we went to buy carpet at Lowe's. Turns out they got this great new way to buy carpet.
So easy.
We went for the Berber.
And cranberry?
With a 20-year warranty. Isn't that great?
So do you want to see a movie or what?
You bet.
New Lowe's Carpet 123. Just pick your style, your color, and your warranty. Lowe's, let's build something together.
Use your Lowe's consumer card and pay nothing for 12 months on any purchase of $299 or more.
America, you declared your independence from interest rates, and the response was overwhelming. The Buick Pontiac GMC 72-hour sale has been extended. Time is running out to break free from interest payments for 6 full years with 0% financing for 72 months. Choose from thousands of Buicks, Pontiacs, and GMCs, like the G6 sedan. With an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon on the highway, the Buick Pontiac GMC 72-hour sale. See your Buick Pontiac GMC dealer today.
Legend has it, Rocky Mountain miners knew how to celebrate with get-togethers called banquets. Their beer, Coors, they called it banquet beer, brewed with Rocky Mountain water and only the best high country barley for a full flavored taste. savored by generations since 1873. Times have changed. Coors never will. Coors, the banquet beer.
Chicago Tribune Live, presented by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers. Weeknights at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
The Baby Ruth Ultimate 7th Inning Stretch Competition will give one lucky fan the chance to be the guest conductor and lead the Wrigley Field crowd in Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Fans can go to Cubs.com and get all the details and register to be included in the Baby Ruth Ultimate 7th Inning Stretch Competition. Don't miss your opportunity to show the world how much you love the Chicago Cubs. Here's Jose Escaño in his first year with the Cubs, making his 6th appearance. Trying to keep the Giants right where they are. Second big league stint this year for Escaño. He was recalled on Saturday from AAA Iowa. Sunday night in the 8th, he gave up a 2-run homer to Jim Thome. First time around in late May, he gave up 1 earned run in 5 innings over 4 relief appearances. 1-2 the count on Jose Castillo. The kick and the pitch. Broken bat flare, base hit. So that's how the bottom of the 7th starts. Escaño made his pitch. It was up in the zone a little bit, but off the end of the bat. And a base hit.
Castillo with 2 base hits in the ball game. Neither one of them has bent the outfield grass. A little floater over Derek's head for a base hit, and then that broken bat floater to left field for a base hit.
The pitch to Vizquel. He shows bunt, pops it up, but it hits the ground. Escaño will throw from his knees, and he didn't get it. Castillo will go to third on the throw to first. Now there'll be at least 1 error in there, allowing Castillo to get another base. Going to be a hit for Vizquel, but an error on Escaño, allowing Castillo to go up another base.
A nice effort to come in there and try to catch that ball in the air, but a throw from his knees from the sidearm angle just resulted in a sinker to first base. It was tough for DeRosa to handle.
Now Omar Vizquel, Bob, is one of the best bunters of his generation. That was not a particularly strong bunt. He has been in a very rough stretch. And once that ball hit the ground, you could see that was going to be trouble. The thing about bunts like that, if they're not caught, I mean, it's not a rhythm play that you see that often. Fielders sometimes it's just discombobulated.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Lou making the long, slow walk out to the mound from that first base dugout. You never know quite sure if he's made up his mind what he wants to do, and maybe that little stroll out there from the dugout gives him an opportunity to think over the situation and decide exactly what it is he wants to do.
And Rich Aurelia has been announced as a pinch hitter for Yabu, and that's it. He's going to make the call. And it'll be Carlos Marmol. First and third, nobody out. Heineken call to the pen. We'll be back.
Do something about this heat.
Big house pulling.
Yeah. We're at fifth now.
Be right there.
Don't just trust anybody to cool you down.
Those fellas sure were fast.
Call Four Seasons Heating and Air Conditioning at 866-4 Seasons. For all the right reasons, Four Seasons.
Now more than ever, you want to get the most for your money. Look no further than the rugged V6 2008 Kia Sportage. Fuel efficient, 5-star safety rated, backed by an industry-leading warranty, and it's priced about $6,000 less than a Toyota RAV4 Limited. Or to put it another way, a whole year's worth of groceries less. The Kia Model Year-End event. It's money well saved. Now get 0% APR or up to $3,000 cash back on the 2008 Sportage.
Carlos Marmol has struggled lately, giving up a couple of big home runs on this road trip. But Lou throwing him right back out there in a big spot. First and third, nobody out. His team trails by a run. He faces Rich Aurelia. Cornermen are going to be in. Ramirez even with a base at third. Lee holding on to Skell. They're in double play depth up the middle. Check swing by Aurelia on a slider outside, and he held up. Location, location, location. That's been the buzzword over the last 18 hours or so after he gave up that home run to Durham. Trying to execute his pitches. That one's way outside, 2-0.
We talked about it briefly about Tim Lincecum. He can get away with some mistakes. He can get away with a lack of control because his stuff is so good. And for Carlos Marmol, most of the first half, he was able to do the same. But lately, he's been making some mistakes in areas where balls have been hit pretty hard.
Aurelia's been hot lately, coming off the bench today, and he's going to stay hot. And Marmol's given up another one. Got behind in the count, and Aurelia made him pay big time. That's a 3-run blast, and it's 7-3. That's going to be it for Marmol.
Belvedere home run replay. That ball is just below the letters, middle of the plate. Rich Aurelia, a real good high fastball hitter. If he requested a pitch from Carlos Marmol, that's where he would have wanted it.
So the struggles continue for Marmol. And it'll be Neil Kotz coming in. Again, a Heineken call to the pen. Now 7-3 Giants.
Tonight, do the mojito with the refreshingly cool taste of the Bacardi Mojito.
Isn't it amazing how a smile can change everything? That's why we do more than just connect calls. We believe and connecting people. U.S. Cellular. Believe in something better.
Paint? Me. Paint? Me. Paint me. Paint me. Paint me.
House telling you something? Lowe's has new lower prices all over the store. Paint, brushes, ladders, you name it. So come to Lowe's this July 4th weekend and let's build something together.
Use your Lowe's consumer credit card and pay nothing for 12 months on any purchase of $299 or more.
It's been a rough seventh. Ascanio gave up 2 hits to start the inning. He got taken out. Marmol allowed a 3-run homer to Rich Aurelia. Only batter he faced, and now it's Neil Kotz against Fred Lewis. Still no outs, 7-3 Giants. And the 1-1 is shanked foul. In Marmol's case, the struggles began with walks and hit batters, not with base hits or home runs. Then the shift went to home runs, which is obviously a much bigger concern.
And we can talk all you want about mechanics and location, but at some point you have to wonder if it's not getting between his ears a little bit too. I mean, for a young man that's had so much success in the early part of the season to suddenly just fall off the face of the earth the way he has, he's got to be scratching his head and wondering where it went.
Swing and a miss by Lewis. He strikes out.
I know Lou's wondering where it went. I mean, that was Marmol's situation throughout the entire first half of the season. You get in a jam in the 7th or 8th inning. You need a couple of big strikeouts to get out of that jam. Carlos Marmol was the go-to guy.
Now, Lou brought him in last night with a 3-run lead, but to start an inning. As you said today, that kind of trying to get him right back into his comfort zone, which is pitching in uncomfortable positions. And he had been really good in that spot. Well, he's not getting away with any mistakes right now. Durham batting right-handed, as will Randy Wynn behind him against the lefty Kotz. Nobody loosening in the Cubs pen. This is Kotz's inning to get out of. The 3rd reliever to pitch already here in the 7th. That's a foul ball past third base. Ball dude Dick Leland, 80 years old, made that play. The lefty. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for Kotz.
Well located fastball right on the outside corner with a little bit of movement away from Ray Durham. Gets a swinging strike. And one thing about those ball dudes, I mean, obviously they're all senior citizens, and it's nice to have them out here in uniform being part of the action here at AT&T Park, but they put them on those little cow milking stools. And I don't know how the gentleman down the left field line, I'm not sure how his knees are, but that'd be tough to get up and down off that little stool. And the reason they have that stool is because the fans behind the ball dudes couldn't see the action if they were sitting on a regular height chair. That gentleman looks a little younger, even though he's got the old style glove.
He's 51. Mark Madden.
He's just a rookie.
How about that glove?
That looks like a replica of the one they have out in left center field here. Got the old button on the wrist strap.
Yeah, 3 fingers. Served into center.
Well, in case you weren't with us last night, I'll tell the story once again. Notice that glove in left center field has a thumb. It has the webbing, but it only has 3 fingers. Where's the other finger? Well, the Giants gave it to the Dodgers.
They might give it to the Dodgers this weekend. They come in tomorrow night. It's actually a day game tomorrow on Independence Day. John Lieber up for the Cubs in their pen. Just throwing this out there, Bob. Could it also be, in the case of Marmol, just teams having scouted him, knowing what to look for, making some adjustments? I mean, very few pitchers have the extended success that he had the first couple of months of the season, have that carry over the course of 6 months. I mean, you also have to give other teams a little bit of credit for making the adjustment. He doesn't have a big repertoire. He has the fastball and the slider.
You know, I know Larry Rothschild is not going to want to hear this, but I'm a paranoid guy by nature, and when I see a guy with the kind of stuff that Marmol has get banged around the way he has, the first thing I'm going to do is get in that video room and see if he's not doing something to tip his pitches. I don't know if he is or not, but sometimes when a guy goes from so good to so bad quickly, somebody's discovered something.
And again, location a problem today. That pitch was up to Aurelia as he was able to hit it out. Kotz gets all 3 of the outs on strikeouts, gave up a single but no runs. They did get 3 before he came in, and it's now 7-3.
People think life in California is one big vacation, but it's really a lot of work.
We have board meetings.
Lots of board meetings.
We're always playing catch up. We're really just a bunch of pencil pushers.
We burn the midnight oil.
Hey, it's a dirty job.
Someone's got to do it. So if California seems like your kind of work,
when can you start?
Find yourself in California. With over 95 daily flights from Chicago Midway to cities in California, Southwest Airlines is taking low fares farther.
You are now free to move about the country.
Your inspiration, your support system, your brothers, your foundation, your future. Whatever your reason, drink responsibly.
When this restaurant wanted to add on to their benefits package to help attract new employees, they knew exactly who to have at the table. Find out more at forbusiness.com.
We've sold thousands of quality used cars, but actually, quality used cars sell themselves. Hello, I'm Bruce Dickstein of the David Bruce Auto Center. Our factory-trained technicians go through every used car. The ones that pass go on our lot. The ones that don't, they go somewhere else. At the David Bruce Auto Center, we take the risk out of buying. We believe it's the only way to buy a used car.
And if credit has been a problem, see David Bruce for a second chance.
Time for the Sharp Aquas game-changing play. We're going to go with the Tim Lincecum RBI single with 2 outs off Sean Gallagher in the 2nd inning. That gave the Giants a 2-1 lead. They have not trailed since. They ended up getting 4 runs in that 2nd inning.
And to the best of my recollection, Len, it's the first time in a long time an opposing pitcher has really done some damage swinging the bat. You may remember about a month or so ago, maybe a little longer ago, Lou Piniella wanted more detailed scouting reports on opposing pitchers' ability as hitters. We got burned a lot early in the season when those pitchers would come up with some big base hits, and for the most part the Cubs have done a nice job adjusting until that Lincecum hit today.
Aurelia now playing first, and Sergio Romo will take over on the hill. And he faces Ramirez, ball 1. Cubs have 6 outs to go. They trail by 4. Hit foul. The Mets got 3 in the opening inning at St. Louis. It's 3-0 now in the third. Carlos Delgado with a sac fly. Damian Easley with an RBI single. And then Ryan Church scored on an error by the pitcher Mitchell Boggs. Two now in Colorado, the Marlins and the Rockies. Expansion brothers back in 1993.
Now, Romo was the pitcher that came into the ballgame last night for the Giants and promptly drilled Ryan Theriot in the rib cage. Boy, that was a nasty looking hit by pitch. Fortunately, Ryan okay, right back in the lineup today. But Romo dropping that arm angle down nearly to sidearm at times.
Another broken bat. We've seen a bevy of broken bats today as Lewis will make the play.
A little bit of late movement gets that fastball right in on the hands of Aramis Ramirez, and we've seen a lot of those maple bats just explode the way that one did.
I was going to say I like the Chesapeake in that battle there. Fortunately, the sailboat a little to the left. Out of the way, buddy. I'm coming through. One and one on Edmonds. Phillies leading 4-0 in Atlanta. They're in the bottom of the ninth. Chase Utley with his 24th home run. Ryan Howard has hit his 22nd. You asked a great question last night off the air. You have 2 second basemen leading the National League in home runs. Utley just took the lead over Dan Uggla. You don't see that very often.
No, I can't recall a time you had 2 second basemen up there. It's been second basemen who have led the league at some point during the season, but I don't recall ever seeing 2 of them atop the leaderboard.
Reds leading at home against the Nationals 5-3, top of the 8th. 3-2 on Edmonds. He pulls it on one bounce. Durham will field, throw, and get it. Now Soto trying to get something going for himself and for the team. He is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. And he committed an error, allowing the Giants to get their 4th run in the second. Dropped a pop-up right near home plate. Well, he had that stretch of, what was it, 8 straight strikeouts earlier in the season and came right back. He's been able to handle just a little adversity extremely well this season. You find out a lot about a player when he goes through stretches like that.
Hey, you never once saw him hanging his head or complaining or sitting in his locker moping. He just continues to insist that the most important job he has with this ball club is handling the pitching staff. The offense is all a bonus. He takes great pride in his offense, but he would gladly win a ball game, get his pitching staff through the game, and take an over if that's what it took.
Yeah, he had a 2-homer performance, 2 3-run homers. Just a couple of games after that rough weekend in Washington. Vizquel throws him out. So Gio is 0 for 4, and we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. The Giants lead 7-3 as they're trying to earn a split in this series.
I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and I need you. I need you every single day, and I want you. I want you every single way, and it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love, it's love, it's love, it's la 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 la, it's love.
2.5 miles. Half a mile southwest.
Come on, man.
Quarter mile. West! West! 1 street over, 2 buildings down on the right.
Miller Lite, the ultimate light beer.
Ode to the Subway $5 footlong. If you don't take a liking to the new Subway Everyday Value menu featuring ginormous subs slathered in awesome for a price just shy of insane, well, you were either born without taste buds or a fundamental understanding of economics. High five Abe Lincoln and choose one of 8 Yum Rockets for a 5 spot. $5 regular footlongs on the new Everyday Value menu. Only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
From the Comcast Sportsnet studios, it's a Cadillac Sports Update.
Hi, everyone. Chris Bowden with you. Some bad news on the injury front for the Blackhawks as defenseman James Wisniewski tore his ACL in off-season training. 24-year-old will undergo surgery this week. He's expected to miss part of the 08-09 season while recovering. Now back to San Francisco. They got to hold them and score 4 in the 9th. Len, Bob, take it away.
Okay, Chris, it's John Lieber here in the 8th. And a sellout crowd today, 40,511. A lot of Cub fans in attendance as you get the numbers for Lieber. The lefty-righty splits continues a career trend. He's always been better versus righties than lefties. And he faces a right-handed hitter, Aaron Rowan. It's a ground ball toward the hole, stopped by Terrio, and he won't make the throw.
Nice effort to get to that ball. The backhanded diving stop. Once he had to turn that direction, no chance of making a throw to first base and getting anything on it at all. If he was able to open up to his left, he would have had a little bit on the throw and may have taken a shot at Rowan at first base.
Emmanuel Burris, switch hitter, little bad lefty, as he'll pinch hit for Romo. Pushes a bunt, foul. I think the most disappointing thing about how this game has turned out to this point, Bob, is that the Cubs were able to do a little damage against one of the better starters in baseball, Tim Lincecum. They were down only a run, 4-3. You get to their bullpen with a golden opportunity, but then your bullpen gives up 3 runs to make it 7-3 in the 7th. Sean Gallagher came back after that bad second, as you said, gave up all of his hits in that 1 inning. Aside from that, he only allowed 2 base runners all day, 2 walks. Called strike 3. Burris is retired. And the other thing about it, and this goes back to last night, the bottom of the Giants order has done a lot of damage. They've had a couple of big innings started in those bottom 3 spots.
Yeah, Castillo with 2 hits has scored 2 runs, driven in a run. Omar Vizquel with a base hit and a run scored in the pitcher spot. Tim Lincecum with a base hit and an RBI, and then Rich Aurelia pinch hitting in the pitcher spot with the big 3-run homer.
Last night, Travis Denker pinch hitting in the 9 spot, walked to keep that 7th alive against Marmol. Then Lewis, the leadoff man, singled, and Durham hit a home run. Well, there was a point during which Jose Castillo could not buy a home run. He went 453 at bats without one, but now has hit 6 over his last 190.
453 at bats. That's nearly a full season of at bats, depending on how often a guy walks or puts down a sac bunt or gets hit by a pitch or hits a sac fly. A lot of everyday players are going to end up around 450 to 500 at bats on the season.
He hit 14 for the Pirates in 06 and then did not hit one all of last year in 221 at bats. Oh, that might have hit the bat. Nope, they're going to give him first base. I heard that it hit wood. I probably hit the knob, but it also caught part of his hand. I don't know if Lou's going to come out and argue this. John Lieber wants an explanation from Paul Emmel.
Take a look at a couple of replays. Sinker running up and in. Definitely sounded like it caught wood. Oh, it just knocked the bat right out of his hands. Gio ended up catching the knob of the bat in the webbing of his glove. Shaking his right hand. You may have noticed he got his left hand off of the bat. Well, if it didn't hit him, he sold it pretty well.
Two on for Vizquel, who snapped an 0 for 18 with a bunt single in the 7th. All-time leader in games played among shortstops, 2,610. Passed Louis Aparicio earlier this season, May 25th at Florida, in game 2 of a doubleheader. Second among active players with 2,618 career hits. Ken Griffey Jr., the only player ahead of him, and he's not that far ahead. 2,626. Off the glove of Terrio. That'll probably be another hit, and they're going to get a run as Rowand will score to make it 8-3.
Like a changeup, outer part of the plate. Vizquel stayed with it, used the side of the mound. That ball deflected back toward Ryan Terrio, but unfortunately it glances off his glove and goes on into center field as Rowand chugs around third base and scores.
Aurelia, for the second time today, hit a pinch hit 3-run homer off Marmol in the 7th. We got an email from Josh Fancher from Carefree, Arizona, wondering about Carlos Marmol and the fact that could it be overuse? Has he been overworked? Well, I would say early on, the first couple of months, he was used a lot, but he was at his most effective at that time. Lately, he actually hasn't pitched that much.
And there's been no noticeable drop off in his velocity on his fastball or the movement on his slider. Just a problem locating, and that could possibly be the result of some fatigue, but I don't think so.
High bouncer. The throw's going to go to the plate, and Castillo didn't even slide. He'll be tagged out. Now they'll go 5-2. First and second, 2 outs. It's Fred Lewis. 8-3 Giants.
One for 2 with a couple of walks. Stolen base. Scored a run. A busy day for Fred Lewis.
Well, this hasn't been that fun here the last couple of innings, but the Mets have had a lot of fun in St. Louis, so that helps. 9-0 in the 3rd inning.
Well, unless somebody could come in out of that Cardinal bullpen and eat up several innings in relief. Cardinals figure to have a little bit of a tattered bullpen as the Cubs fly into town late tonight.
Tony hasn't gone to his pen at this point. Mitchell Boggs has given up all those runs. Caught by Ramirez as Lewis pops out. So we'll head to the 9th. Tall task here for the Cubs. They trail by 5.
Improve your home and save big money. Menards. Give a new look to your bathroom with a new vanity from Pace. Choose from this Southampton oak vanity, just $149, or the St. Clair style, just $159. Keep that new look going with a new vanity top from Crane. This solid white or almond swirl vanity top is just $55. This extra thick edge and recessed bowl vanity top is $88. Plus, there's 0 interest till 2010 when you put it on your big card.
Save big money at Menards.
Bank of America offers the opportunity to see Wrigley Field like never before. Take a 90-minute guided tour and see the press box, locker room, dugouts, and more. With the new expanded summer schedule, it's now more convenient than ever to experience beautiful Wrigley Field. Purchase tickets by calling 1-800-THE-CUBS or by visiting Cubs.com.
Show me what you tell me, now we sipping cold belly and we up inside the telly. Roll you jellies on your belly and that spread up on your pillow. Bobby all inside your middle. This got me flipping like hotcakes on the griddle.
I have written my story upon these pages. I've been a cup, I've been a plate. I have worn smooth the handles of hammers and shovels. I've wrestled with barbed wire. I have never turned the pages of a Swedish furniture catalog. I'm always dirty, but my conscience is always clean.
You're out here for a reason. So are we. Tractor Supply Company. The stuff you need out here.
Cubs fans, put on your rally caps for an exciting finish. Brought to you by New Finish Car Polish and the #1 rated scratch remover, Scratch Doctor.
Nissan drive of the game. Rich Aurilia adding a lot of insurance on Carlos Marno. That's a 3-run homer. Back in the 7th inning. And right-hander Osiris Matos will make his major league debut.
Good AAA numbers down at Fresno. 36 2/3 innings, only 25 base hits, 37 strikeouts.
23 years old, 6'1", 180 pounds, and he begins the 9th with a strike on a fastball to Mark DeRosa. Mark had a 2-run double off Lincecum in the 6th to draw the Cubs within 1. Matos is the 10th Giant to make his major league debut this season. That's the most in the majors. The Cardinals have had 9 players make their debut this season. Matos signed out of the Dominican Republic in 2002. He's from Santo Domingo. Check swing foul. Well, stranger things have happened. In fact, it happened earlier today. You had the Diamondbacks down by 5 in the 9th, and they won at home against Milwaukee. Castillo will spin and fire a strike to Aurelia.
In that Diamondbacks Brewers game, there was another controversial home run down the left field line at Chase Field in Phoenix. Replays appeared to show the ball well foul into the bullpen, but was called a home run. And after the umpires got together and compared looks, they decided to keep it a home run. Boy, strong throw that time by Castillo.
Terrio entered the ball game 9th in the NL with a .308 batting average. Still there at .308. He's 1 for 3. Chipper Jones leading the way at .391. Healthy lead over Lance Berkman, who's at .358. Terrio looking for his 32nd multi-hit game if he can get a base hit. He's in a 2-0 count. And he takes that one a little bit outside. I don't know if Ryan faced Matos in spring training, but there's a decent chance he did in Cactus League play. I know a lot of guys are just trying to get their sea legs and get ready for the season, but you can also pick up a few tips on an opposing pitcher here or there that you might see down the road. Pretty sure we saw Matos in one of those Cactus League affairs.
You know, way back in the day, Len, before all the video equipment and the video scouting and the games being televised, hitting coaches and pitching coaches for that matter used to recommend that every player keep their own notebook.
His first major league strikeout.
You know, for situations just like this, as you mentioned, Cubs probably saw Matos in spring training, maybe only for an inning or two. But you make a few notes in your notebook, arm angle, release point. Where does he set his hands? Is he fast to the plate? Is he slow to the plate? What does this stuff look like? His slider's flat, his slider goes down. Whatever the case may be, just so you had your own little refresher when you would see a guy maybe later in the season.
Darrell Ward pinch hitting for Lieber. Our producer Bob Albrecht, our director is Dave Turner. Tamara Anderson is our associate producer. Janice Baker, our stage manager in the booth. Dan Berger is our technical director. Jim Corno Jr., the executive producer of Cubs baseball here on Comcast Sportsnet. Excellent work all week long by our entire crew here in San Francisco, giving you the sights and sounds of Cubs baseball. Didn't Eric Burden sing about a warm San Francisco night? Starting to cool off again. Had some cool San Francisco nights. Darrell Ward trying to keep the Cubs alive here in the ninth. A 1-2 count. Here's the pitch. It's low, 2-2.
Well, if you get a warm San Francisco night, you write a song about it, because it doesn't happen very often.
We'll see the Giants again next weekend at Wrigley Field to end the first half. Still 2-2. fly ball. Aaron Rowan battling the sun a little bit. Makes a catch, and that does it. The Giants earn a split in this 4-game series. 8-3 the final score today. And now it's off to St. Louis. Tim Lincecum gets his 10th win of the season. Cardinals are getting blasted early on at home against the Mets, so the Cubs hoping to start that series 2.5 games up. And Bob, the Cubs will welcome back their ace tomorrow night, so you just look ahead. Then a tough start to this trip. The Cubs 2-5. They won 2 of the 4 here. And it'll be a very big weekend series.
No question about it. It's always a big weekend series when you're playing the Cardinals, regardless of where the teams are in the standings, but a lot at stake this time around.
Time now for our Chevy player of the game, Tim Lincecum, with a quality start. 6 innings, gave up 3 earned runs as he qualifies for his 10th win of the season.
We had a real good look at one of the best young pitchers in the game today.
So he defeats Sean Gallagher, who drops to 3-4. And the Cubs will head now to Busch Stadium at 51-35 on the season. 2 catchers talking about things, Blanco and Soto. Maybe a teaching moment there, mentor and protege, after a tough day of baseball for the Cubs. So that'll do it for our game coverage. Stay tuned, more to come. Post-game live is coming up next. Once again, the final score today, the Giants 8, the Cubs 3. Our next Cubs telecast will be Sunday afternoon from St. Louis. It'll be the road trip finale. Probably will be Sean Marshall for the Cubs. That is not yet official, but it'll be Todd Wellemeyer, former Cub, pitching for the Cardinals. In-game scoring provided by ScorePad. And now for Bob Brenly and our entire crew, this is Len Casper saying so long from San Francisco. Post-game live is coming up next here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Well, we were hoping getting Aramis Ramirez and Reed Johnson back in the lineup would spark the Cubs this evening. Didn't quite work out that way.
Not in this particular instance. Hopefully they'll build back up to it.
And Big Z's pitching tomorrow. That is the positive sign coming out of this one. Yeah. Mark Shanowski, William Jackson in our Comcast Sportsnet studio. Chris Bowden and Dan Plesac are standing by. They'll break down all the key plays coming up on Cubs Postgame Live.
But don't forget to join us for Sports Night right after that, as we'll have the latest on the Bulls negotiations with Luol Deng and Ben Gordon.
Plus, we catch up with Bears Hall of Famer Dick Butkus, who's continuing his fight to keep young athletes away from performance-enhancing drugs.
That plus highlights from the Sox, who are red hot right now, and the A's.
So keep it right here after a quick timeout. Chris and Dan will try to keep that big blue train on the tracks. It's Cubs Postgame Live up next.
Morning, Mike.
Morning, Bill.
Morning.
Morning.
I think I might need some better brakes.
You need our Midas Secure Stop brake service.
Is that something new?
Brand spanking.
Really?
Yeah. Exceptional stopping power combined with the security of a 55-point brake inspection.
And the pads are lifetime guaranteed.
So next time this one.
That's why we call it Secure Stop.
Trust the Midas touch.
America, you declared your independence from interest rates and the response was overwhelming. The Chevy 72-hour sale has been extended. Time is running out to break free from interest payments for 6 full years with 0% financing for 72 months. Choose from thousands of Chevys, like the HHR, with an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon on the highway. The Chevy 72-hour sale. See your local Chevy dealer today.
Don't let the gentle sway fool you. This is high country barley. It's found here, where the air is crisp and the soil is rich. Perfect for growing full-bodied barley, giving Coors that full-flavored taste, savored by generations since 1873. It's the way they like it. It's the way we like it. And neither one of us is much for compromising. Coors, the banquet beer.
What your engine feels, you feel. And when it's running clean, you feel it. which is why we developed full synthetic Pennzoil Platinum with active cleansing agents to clean out up to 46% of sludge in the first oil change. That's 3 times better than the leading conventional oil. Pennzoil Platinum Motor Oil. Our ultimate clean for your ultimate feeling. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines, you're now free to be more productive. Visit southwest.com today. Menards. At Menards, you'll find big lumber yards, big selection, and big savings. And by your local Chicagoland Buick Pontiac GMC dealers.
The Cubs have now played as many games on the road as they have at home, and it's now been nearly 3 weeks since they've won back-to-back road games, falling to 18-25 away from the confines after winding up a split of their 4-game set in San Francisco. 8-3 your final. And hello and welcome to Lowe's Postgame Live alongside the trainer for Ronnie Woo-Woo, the horse. Woo-woo. The horse, not the
big blue
fan.
train.
No, and that big blue train sputtering a little bit tonight. He's Dan Plesac. I'm Chris Bowden. The Sports Illustrated coverage obviously doesn't work on Tim Lincecum, although he wasn't quite as sharp and as effective as he normally is. But the Cubs going against an all-star pitcher knew they had a little room for error tonight. One inning jumps up and bites Sean Gallagher in an otherwise solid performance and a start. But we all know, again, what all Cubs fans will be talking about, and that is Carlos Marmol. Dan Ewanski talked about him last night after the home run last night. And here in the 7th inning, he comes up a 4-3 ball game trying to protect the lead. Lou Piniella wanting to keep that confidence in him, needing a strikeout in the situation against Rich Aurelia, and all of a sudden, it's a 4-run ball game.
Well, what you're seeing now is the first 2 months of the season, this bullpen was airtight in the 6th, 7th, and 8th inning. And you go back and you look at the number of games that the Cubs won in the first 50 or 60 games, that they were down but able to keep the game close to give themselves a chance. Now, they were able to battle back to get this to 4-3. And you can go back and try to dissect and look at Marmol. I think it boils down to a couple different things. One being confidence. Right now, this is a young pitcher that's never been through a struggle like this. It's one thing to have a bad game and then come back and double or triple up and have some really good games, and you forget about that bad game. But when it happens 2 times in a row, 3 times in a row, he really hasn't thrown the ball like Carlos Marmol, and it's been about 7 or 8 appearances now. I'm not sure what the answer is, but I'm more than convinced that it's more between his ears than it is with mechanics.
Okay, so Lou Piniella has continued to express some real confidence in him. And here's, first of all, before we get to that point, a look at some of the numbers here, the difference between the first 2 months and what's been the first month and change. It really turned from 3 weeks ago in that game at Tampa Bay where he lost his control. So that's probably located somewhere between Toronto and Cooperstown, or Cooperstown and Tampa St. Pete, where he kind of lost it. Things real spiraling downward there. And in startling fashion, his ERA has risen by 8 runs. He's given up 4 homers the last 12 innings as opposed to just 3 over his first 34 plus. So let's get back to this talking point here. Lou Piniella continuing to express extreme confidence in him that he's going to bounce back. But now as you get into crunch time, you still have yourself what's now a 2, probably still a 2.5 game cushion as you go to St. Louis. And you get deeper into the season. The longer this goes on, do you keep throwing him out there and run the risk of this continuing to happen and costing your team? Or do you run the risk of sending him to the minors in order to get this thing back on track? Does that ruin him a little bit mentally? Because he's an extremely confident kid.
I don't think a short stint or a refresher course back to the minor leagues is going to do him any good right now. I think what he needs is to get out of some games that are close type situations. If he can get into a game where they're down 3 or 4 runs, get in innings work to try to build some momentum. What happens as a young pitcher, you're so accustomed to, when you come up and you have the immediate success that he has had, you really don't ever have to deal with failure. And you go back to opening day, and I know that there were a lot of Cub fans and a lot of people up in arms with Kerry Wood's performance on opening day, and there were people crying for Carlos Marmol to be the closer. And I said then, and I'll say it again, he's physically ready to close games, but he's not mentally ready to close games. Kerry Wood has been through more in his career than Carlos Marmol has ever thought about being really good, been really bad. being really the cornerstone of this pitching staff, to be built around this pitching staff. He's had some injuries, he's had some difficult times, but the bottom line is Kerry Wood is very tough mentally, and this guy has been through a lot, and there's nobody I'm happier to see have a good year than him. His teammates appreciate what he does, and I'm not so sure that on opening day, if Carlos Marmol would have had the game that Kerry Wood did, you might have seen this from Carlos Marmol early on. And another thing that I believe in with young pitchers in particular, it takes you sometimes a couple of seasons to really understand while you're pitching good, when you're pitching good, and when you're pitching bad, how to fix it. A lot of times you go on your natural ability, you have an overpowering fastball, a very good breaking pitch, and when you get in trouble, similar to what a lot of athletes do in high school, you're a little bit bigger, you're a little bit stronger, you throw harder, you throw it faster. Well, at this level, that doesn't always work.
And now who becomes the setup guy? If you put him in those less urgent situations, those late game situations, in order to get him back on track here at the major league level, do you turn it over to Bob Howery now in the eighth inning?
There's no question. You have to have somebody with some experience. I know they tried Escanio tonight. He's simply not ready to pitch in those crunch time kind of situations. Just because a guy or a young pitcher has really good stuff, and you see the radar gun readings, 96, 97, he has a great breaking ball. It's about savvy, it's about moxie, and there's a lot to relief pitching. You have to know the situation. If you have a base open, who's on deck, who's two hitters down the row. You have to learn at times when to pick your poison, when to challenge people, when to pitch around guys, and that only comes from experience. But this is going to be a big key, and as I said when we started the show, when you have a good bullpen, you really don't notice it because the game, it just is a smooth transition from the starting pitcher to the guys that are going to set the game up to get the ball to the closer. Now, when you're going through a period like the Cubs are right now, you're not really sure who to go to, and it seems like those 6th, 7th, and 8th innings are very strenuous, not only for you sitting at home and watching, but also for the Cubs and the coaching staff.
We'll quit beating up on Carlos for now. I may come back to him.
It's not beating up.
Right, I know. Fans want to know, and I'll come back to you a little bit later in the show on whether you hit some kind of these speed bumps early on in your career and how the manager handled that. And Lou's been through these wars before. He'll know how to handle this thing, and he may need some time to step back. Speaking of young pitchers, he's our Feldco star of the game, Tim Lincecum. The Giants star tonight, not nearly as dominating as he normally is. As we mentioned at the outset, the Cubs raised his pitch count, got him to the 6th, and the bullpen let things get away, as we've been discussing. But what were some of your impressions of Lincecum tonight? Not quite on his A game, it seemed.
Well, and Bob Brenly touched on this very well during the game. He's kind of what you call at this stage of his career right now, effectively wild. He throws enough pitches in the strike zone that make you, and you look at this big curveball that he has. I'm not sure he's at a point in his career right now where he can command that pitch for strikes, but he has such a good explosive fastball that he will freeze you or buckle you like he did here with Mark DeRosa. He's inconsistent enough that you really have no idea. He could throw a couple of pitches up and away, down and away, and then paint one on the corner, and that's really tough for a hitter.
And here's a look at the pitching recap from tonight's starters. Gallagher throwing 74 pitches over 5. 3 of the 4 runs earned, and we'll get to his performance as well in a moment because it really wasn't that bad except for that one inning. It's a big except. A pair of walks and a pair of strikeouts, but Lincecum, the NL strikeout leader, punched out 8 over 6 innings, and for not being on his A game, that's not too bad. 15th quality start, 18 turns, and that Mark DeRosa double after he went over the 100 pitch count. Mark kept the Cubs in position going into those late frames. Giants did their damage in the 2nd inning against Sean Gallagher tonight, and kind of like that game against the White Sox last Saturday, one real bad inning after the Cubs gave him an early lead. Aaron Rowan, 1 for 10 the series so far, up to this point, singles to get things started as they go into the bottom stages of that Giants batting order. 1 out later, it's Jose Castillo then driving Rowan in on this double down the right field line. But I guess Gallagher's real mortal sin came after this. 2 outs, Lincecum up, and then he allows the opposing pitcher to drive in and run on him.
This is probably the one pitch in this inning that he would like to have back. This was a breaking ball, an 85-mile-an-hour slider on a 1-1 count that I'm sure he wanted to bury down at his back foot, down and in. Unfortunately, he threw it for a strike.
And then Lewis comes in, triples to center. Lincecum scoring from first base on that one, and that made it a 3-1 ball game, rather a 4-1 ball game, as that made it 3-1, and then the Ray Durham pop-up here, in which Giovanni Soto just totally loses this one in the sun, and unfortunately it landed in fair territory.
This is a play right here that this is really the third baseman's ball. That's a lot to ask your catcher, to go out in the middle of the diamond. And I'm not sure if Aramis Ramirez, you often hear about that phrase in Arizona in spring training about the high sky when you have very few clouds in that Bay Area, and it's the same way in Phoenix, Arizona. But that's a ball really, I'm not sure if Aramis Ramirez lost the ball when it went up, but when you're playing in conditions like that where there's no cloud coverage and the ball goes up, you can't assume that you're going to pick up a spot where the ball is going to be. You have to really track the ball off the bat and not take your eye off it. But that's a ball that the third baseman should catch.
That was one sloppy play defensively tonight for the Cubs. Their other error wound up jumping up and biting them as well in that inning in the 7th when Carlos Marmol Ascanio couldn't get his handle on that pop sacrifice attempt, and that run ended up scoring as well. As we go to break, our Pontiac opinion poll: which player's absence has affected the Cubs the most? Is it Reed Johnson, Aramis Ramirez, Alfonso Soriano, or Carlos Zambrano? Log on to our website, ComcastSportsNet.com. Click the link to Chicago. Go to the Cubs page to cast your vote. We'll have the results a little bit later on Lowe's Cubs Postgame Live. Stick around.
Coming up on Sports Night, Vinny Del Negro and the Bulls add a couple of NBA lifers to the coaching staff. And Bears Hall of Famers Dick Butkus and Gale Sayers talk about steroids in sports. Those stories and a whole lot more on Sports Night.
You know, even rivals agree with this sweet deal. Your local Chevy dealers are giving you $400 worth of free gas with the purchase of a qualified GM certified used vehicle. Hurry in to claim this limited offer, only at your Chevy dealers and only while supplies last.
This quote of the week is brought to you by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. For an insurance quote for auto, home, life, or business, please call Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich at 847-825-4783.
You don't have to be shocked by your utility bill. Hit the jackpot with free installation from Feldco.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Small. Big. Minimum. Maximum. A lot. For a little.
The Nissan Versa, 33 miles per gallon and the largest interior volume in its class.
You're watching the home of the Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox. Comcast Sportsnet.
Save big on products for your home at Menards. DAP adhesives are on sale. Great for molding, trim, paneling, foam board, subfloors, and more. All adhesives from DAP are 20% off. Stock up now on Sylvania Daylight light bulbs. Daylight bulbs have a wider and brighter appearance than standard bulbs. A 4-pack of 40, 60, 75, or 100-watt daylight bulbs are 2 for $3. Plus, there's 0 interest till 2010 when you put it on your Menards Big Card.
Save big money at Menards.
Welcome to Honda's ATV Planet. Today's episode, Power Steering, The Chase is On. The team is out to track the tough Foreman 4x4 ES, the first of its species with power steering. They spot one, and the chase is on. Power steering gives it effortless handling, with no sign of fatigue. Then suddenly, it's gone. Another memorable adventure on ATV Planet.
Hawkeye Motorworks, 7805 North Division Street, Davenport.
Chicago Tribune Live, weeknights at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet.
Time now for our Four Seasons Who's Hot, Who's Not. Who's hot? J.J. Hardy, 423 the last 7 days, helping stoke Milwaukee. The Marlins' Hanley Ramirez, 4 homers, 8 runs driven in the last week. And teammate Ricky Nolasco, remember him?
Ex-Cubby.
Where is Juan Pierre? 2-0, 1.80 ERA's last 2 starts. Who's not? Brad Hawk, 3 for 22. Jeff Francoeur, 1 for his last 19. The Padres' Randy Wolf, 0-2, 11.05, 14 hits allowed in the last week, something that Dan Plesac never experienced, ever. 8-3, San Francisco wins over the Cubs. Giants came into this one with the major's worst home mark, 15-26. Cubs looking to build some momentum going to the weekend series at second place St. Louis. As we check out the highlights here, Reed Johnson back along with Aramis Ramirez as Sean Gallagher got things ready to go, and Reed Johnson led things off right away. Double into the right field corner. Nice to see this guy back in action.
There's no question. And it really is going to help. I think that Jim Edmonds is really, he needs a blow. He's been playing a lot lately.
Derek Lee later in that inning with the base hit to center, and that drives Johnson in. So right away, the Cubs strike against Lincecum, and they give Sean Gallagher that 1-0 lead to work with. But we went through that bottom of the second, and let's revisit it once again, as after Aaron Rowan reached early on Jose Castillo with the double down the right field line. Rowan coming in to score. That evens the game at 1. And then with 2 outs, Lincecum helping himself at the plate. Gallagher wanted that one back to single through the hole on the right side as Castillo scores. Giants up 2-1. And then Freddie Lewis does some damage into the gap right between Edmonds and Johnson there. Nothing to really yahoo about except for Giants fans as Lincecum comes all the way around from first base. That makes it 3-1. And then Ray Durham with this pop fly. And as Dan mentioned earlier, this one really should have been Aramis Ramirez's ball, calling off Giovanni Soto as he was dancing all around, fighting the sun. And it ends up dropping in fair territory. And that allows the runner to score. And that makes it a 4-1 ball game. Top of the fourth, Lincecum rolling right along here. Aramis Ramirez, he is now 0 for his last 21, returned from the birth of a child in the Dominican Republic. And then Giovanni Soto goes down swinging on the slider. Mark DeRosa's turn. He goes down. Lincecum with 8 punch-outs, as we mentioned on the night. 6th inning, they finally come through, runners on the corners, and DeRosa on an 0-2 count manages to come through. That's some clutch hitting.
Clutch hitting, and that's not an easy ball. 95-mile-an-hour fastball up about letter high. Mark DeRosa, he can get to a fastball.
And then we go to the bottom of the 7th then. Carlos Marmol coming on after Jose Escanio allows 2 runners to reach. So runners on the corners. Lou Piniella needing a strikeout and then hopefully a double play ball. But then Aurelia, the pinch hitter, takes him deep. Carlos Marmol gives up the 3-run homer, and that was the only batter he would face. 7-3 lead there as the Giants go on to the 8-3 victory. Our Kawasaki Let the Good Times Roll spotlight is the Cubs lineup against Tim Lincecum. First 2 times through the order, just 4 for 17 against Lincecum. Then they managed to come through after that pitch count got a little bit high over the 100 pitch mark into the 6th inning. They managed to do some damage against him, and then he was lifted when the pinch hitter was announced to open the 7th inning. Reed Johnson and his rested back returned from the disabled list, leading off playing left field. Aramis Ramirez also came back, but Johnson, as we showed there, made the immediate impact starting something in the first versus Lincecum with the double to right to start the game, eventually scoring on that Derek Lee single. But Aramis Ramirez, again, really not in the groove right now, Dan, as he had the rough series against the White Sox, goes away for 3 days, and isn't quite the player that we saw against the White Sox at Wrigley Field a couple weekends ago.
It didn't surprise me that he wasn't really in mid-season form. The baseball is such a game, and as crazy as it sounds, Chris, this is a game of repetition. You do the same thing every day, and I know from when I played, I really dreaded the 3 days off for the All-Star break. Even though it was just 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I always felt like the first game back, that it just felt like you haven't picked up a ball or played catch. It seemed like weeks, and you get used to doing the same thing. And I was not surprised that his timing was going to be a little bit off. And when you haven't seen live pitching at this level, it's hard to take 3 days off, fly in the day of a game. You can go in the cage and take all the batting practice you want off your coaches, but it's different than looking at live fastballs, live breaking balls, and straight changeups.
And the Cubs are going to need his bat to be alive in the lineup this coming weekend against St. Louis. You mentioned about having 3 days off. Let's get back to the Marmol situation and perhaps putting him in a little earlier in games or games that aren't close in order to get his groove back a little bit. When you were a young pitcher, did you ever hit those bumps? And you know, how did the manager handle your situation?
Every pitcher goes through this. It doesn't matter if you're a starting pitcher or you're a relief pitcher. You just hope that you can shake your way through it. And one of the things that you try to defend against is trying to overcome 3 or 4 games in a row. The first inclination is when you come out into a game is you want to make up for those last 3 or 4 games. And so you go out with a lot of vigor and you're going to establish strike one and you're going to be forceful and you're going to force the action, but you're not in a relaxed mode. And I think one of the most difficult things for a relief pitcher when you're going good, Chris, you can go out with very subpar stuff and feel very confident and very composed in what you're doing. And there are several times where when you're going good and the phone rings, you'll come into a game, you may be struggling with your breaking ball, whatever particular pitch you're having a tough time with, and you'll throw that pitch, first pitch, if you're going well, and a guy will swing through it or pop it up, and you'll say to yourself, well, you missed the one ball in this at-bat that you had a chance. I'm going to make some good pitches now. You missed your one to hit. On the flip side, when you're going bad and you throw a first pitch breaking ball or fastball and it's not in the location that you want it to be, you become frustrated and you say, I've got to stop this. here we go again. It's such a mental thing. And if you go back and you break down that at-bat to Rich Aurilia, one, he's a notorious high fastball hitter. So he throws first pitch slider way off the plate, ball one. Then he comes back with a 1-0 slider, puts himself in a hole, 2 balls, no strikes. Now, as a hitter, Rich Aurilia, it's not that he knows that Carlos Marmol is struggling. He's a fastball hitter. He always has been, and he always will be. He cheats to get to a fastball. And what any veteran hitter will do in a count like that, he knows that Marmol throws hard. He's looking for a ball, a fastball, up in the middle half of the plate, and he's going to come out of his shoes, and unfortunately, that's what he did.
And it went out of the ballpark. And Aurilia, by the way, has driven in 10 runs over the last 4 games. Didn't even get the start in the series finale against the Cubs. Still to come on the show, we'll have the results of our Pontiac opinion poll question, plus at the table for this weekend's huge series in St. Louis, including the return of Carlos Zambrano to the rotation.
And now it's time for the Stay in the Game Hold Spotlights, brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color.
And as we go to break, here's a look at our Just for Men hold statistics from the majors. And despite the shakiness, I guess we can call it, of the past 2-3 weeks, the Cubs' Carlos Marmol continues leading the way in the National League with 21 holds. Next in line, a guy the Cubs hope not to see in a hold situation this weekend, Kyle McClellan of the Cards.
Just as these middle relievers keep their team in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men Hair Color.
It's gonna work. Why don't they go up? Let's go. Dad? It's time. You'd be a really nice catch for somebody. Please?
Just for Men takes 5 easy minutes, targets only the gray hair, and can start something great.
For my girls.
Yes! I'm glad we did it.
Just for Men.
Ever since there were cars, Americans have had a love affair with the open road. And with quality gasoline and pay-at-the-pump convenience coast to coast, Valero is your perfect travel companion. Valero, the all-American gasoline for the all-American love affair.
Kitchen Design Limited. They're the tile specialists, right, Dex?
Oh, that's Kern's Kitchens.
Oh, these cabinets got to go, too.
Kitchen Design Limited does custom.
Free consultations?
That's Kern's Kitchens.
Granite countertops.
Of course.
Calvert's Remodeling has those wholesale.
Wait, I'm confused. Who has the guarantee?
Maybe this'll help.
Oh.
Now let's talk bathrooms.
Introducing DexKnows.com, the smartest local search on the web. Compare businesses side by side. See hours, services, and more. Visit DexKnows.com.
America, you declared your independence from interest rates, and the response was overwhelming. The Buick Pontiac GMC 72-hour sale has been extended. Time is running out to break free from interest payments for 6 full years with 0% financing for 72 months. Choose from thousands of Buicks, Pontiacs, and GMCs, like the G6 sedan. With an EPA estimated 30 miles per gallon on the highway, the Buick Pontiac GMC 72-hour sale. See your Buick Pontiac GMC dealer today.
Yeah, you know the spot.
Right away, sir.
Welcome to Giordano's. Your table's ready.
Thank you.
How's everything?
Fantastic.
What's your secret?
It's the fresh ingredients, and it's been so for the last 30 years.
We made it good. You made it famous.
Comcast Sportsnet's action-packed 4th of July weekend begins Friday at 6 with fireworks on the south side as the Sox duke it out with the Oakland A's. Saturday at 5:30, add some flavor to the cookout with White Sox baseball as they take on the A's at U.S. Cellular Field. Sunday at 1:30, the I-55 rivalry explodes in St. Louis as the Cubs battle their archenemy, the Cardinals. And at 6:30, 10 at midnight, don't miss Sports Night. It's an action-packed weekend only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Welcome back. Earlier in the show, in our Pontiac opinion poll, we asked which player's absence has affected the Cubs the most. And here's the way you voted on ComcastSportsNet.com. Everyone's an Alfonso Soriano lover. Now, I think he's supposed to have x-rays today or tomorrow. Hopefully get some batting practice done in St. Louis. Soriano garnering nearly half the vote, followed by the man who returns to the rotation tomorrow night, Carlos Zambrano. Mr. Plesac, your thoughts on that?
My thoughts were Carlos Zambrano, simply because I think you need one guy in that pitching staff that can shoulder the load. And you look at this team before Carlos Zambrano went on the disabled list, you felt pretty good going into a 3-game series with Zambrano, Lilly, and Dempster. It puts extra pressure on Ryan Dempster. It makes him a #1 temporarily. And I think you saw the effects of it really when that series started at U.S. Cellular. You really felt like Ryan Dempster in Game 1. That was a game you felt like the pitching matchup favored the White Sox. The Cubs weren't able to win that game. Then you put pressure on Gallagher on Saturday, and then you get the Sunday's game on Sean Marshall. Now you're putting twice the pressure. So you really need that guy that can stop losing streaks and a guy that can go in Game 1 on a 3-day road trip, and you're starting on a Friday night like Carlos Zambrano. I just worry that he's not going to be as sharp tomorrow, a little overexcited because he hasn't done much the last couple of weeks.
We'll get to that in a moment. Really quick before we go to break here. Now, what do you do with this rotation that Zambrano's back, provided he remains healthy? Right now you have Marshall that's currently in the mix. You still have Gallagher, and Lou's kind of hinted that he's trying to figure out what to do with Gallagher, whether to send him to the pen. So Zambrano, Lilly, Dempster, Marquis, Marshall right now, and Gallagher currently in the rotation. Which one's out? What do you do with some of those guys?
Well, to me, I think Sean Marshall would have a very difficult time really giving you much out of the bullpen, with the exception of being a long guy. He really doesn't have the type of pitches that make you think that he could come into a game and come in and do kind of what Scott Air does, come in to get some tough lefties. He really, what makes him successful is the variety of pitches. He's a big, tall guy, throws the ball on a downhill plane, and it's his fastball, curveball, and changeup that really set all 3 pitches up. He doesn't have one pitch in particular that's going to be dominant against the lefties. So in my opinion, I think Gallagher would be ideally suited to maybe pick up some of that slack, with Carlos Marmol being a little bit shaky.
And we may,
more than a little shaky.
And we may in fact see that after what happened again tonight. And when we come back, we will take a closer look at Carlos Zambrano's return tomorrow night at Busch Stadium in the opener of the big 3-game weekend series against the Cardinals. Looks like that lead is going to remain 2.5. We'll give details when we return.
Hey, yeah, there's this ATM surcharge rebate thingy on my statement.
Oh, that's a rebate for ATM fees charged to you by other banks.
What?
Well, we just don't think you should have to pay to get your own money.
You don't?
Nope. That's why we rebate ATM fees on your lead checking account, no matter whose ATM you use.
I'm gonna need a second, Gene. So I don't have to pay to get my own money.
It's not just banking, it's National City.
You know, even rivals agree with this sweet deal. Your local Chevy dealers are giving you $400 worth of free gas with the purchase of a qualified GM certified used vehicle. Hurry in to claim this limited offer, only at your Chevy dealers and only while supplies last.
You don't have to be shocked by your utility bill. Replace your windows, siding, and doors now and hit the jackpot with free installation from Feldco.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Free installation saves you thousands on energy-efficient Feldco windows, beautiful siding, and doors.
Free installation on windows, siding, and doors. But hurry, offer ends July 31st.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
You don't have to drive far for great family fun. The Muscatine County Fair is July 16th through the 20th. Friday night, July 18th, Billy Currington is at the fair.
Be doing something right. I just heard you.
Saturday the 19th, Tracy Lawrence comes to town.
You find out who your friends are. Somebody's gonna drop everything.
For the best family fun, it's the Muscatine County Fair, July 16th through the 20th in West Liberty, Iowa. It's tradition.
Holland & Sons services Geneseo and Northwestern Illinois with 4 store locations. Holland & Sons carries a full line of new and used John Deere commercial and consumer products, skid steers, track loaders, and wheel loaders. We offer professional grade tractors and mowers for landscapers or property owners, and residential mowers and Gator utility vehicles. We also carry outdoor power equipment like trimmers, blowers, saws, and generators, and back them up with top-notch parts and service. Experience the service the professionals expect at Holland & Sons, your local John Deere dealer.
Welcome back to the Lowe's Cubs postgame live. The Cubs NL Central lead will remain at 2.5 despite the loss tonight. If it doesn't remain at 2.5, then we know it's the Cardinals' year because they're down 11-0 right now to the Mets in the 6th inning at Busch Stadium. So the 3-game series opens tomorrow night, a crucial one. The Cubs will be 2.5 up. They go to Busch Stadium where they dropped 2 of 3 exactly 2 months ago. And starting out tomorrow night for the Cubs will be Carlos Zambrano, just off the DL. If there's ever a time for the big statement from Big Z, it's tomorrow. Unfortunately, it's also his return from the shelf. I'd imagine that pitch count is going to be watched carefully. And he opposes, I guess, one of the many Dave Duncan reclamation projects. Braden Looper, 9-5, but Zambrano, after that warm-up session or that side session in the bullpen on Sunday, says Big Z is back. But, you know, I imagine a pitch count's going to be in order tomorrow night.
There happen to be, that steal that old term, horses for courses, and Brandon Looper has really pitched well against the Cubs the last couple of seasons. He's a converted relief pitcher. Big Z, the only fear that you have to have tomorrow is he hasn't really pitched in active game situations in a couple of weeks. He's kind of an excitable sort to begin with anyway, so you just hope that he can...
Oh, yeah, you're kidding me.
No, I'm being serious. You just hope that he can go out there relaxed and not try to overthrow, and I'm sure he's going to be on a pitch count. I'm guessing it would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 to 90 pitches tops, depending on if he's free and easy and there's not very many stressful situations that come up, but I'd be surprised if it wouldn't be about 6 innings or 85 pitches.
Well, let's talk a little bit as well about this St. Louis club that has surprised everyone. And I believe the top 3 teams by record in the National League right now are Cubs, Cardinals, and the Brewers, who have really gotten hot, although they blew a late lead today. But this Cardinals team just keeps, doing it with mirrors, but they have Tony La Russa managing. You may or may not like Tony La Russa and some of the things he does. And the guy right under him, Dave Duncan, that pitching coach, we talked about Braden Looper, and he's done it with a lot of these players who have stepped in for the Mulders and the Carpenters and the guys who aren't available to them due to injury this year.
Well, Tony La Russa has been a tremendous manager for a very long time, but this may be at the top of his list as far as putting this club together. Albert Pujols has missed a significant amount of playing time. They've been without their best pitcher all season long in Chris Carpenter. They've lost Wainwright. Their catcher Molina was run over, didn't go on the disabled list. They have had, I believe, 10 or 11 pitchers go on the disabled list since the beginning of the season. I don't know how they're doing it, but I would expect them to stay in this because if they've been able to do it this long, when you get into the month of July, I think that team is starting to believe. They're finding ways to win. They're winning close games. I don't know how they're scoring 7 or 8 runs sometimes, but they're doing it. So this is a team that the Cubs cannot take lightly.
And Lou has decided to go with 2 lefties after that, Lilly and Marshall, to wind up the series on Saturday and Sunday. And I think he just wants to get the matchups right since they're heavily on the right-handed side offensively.
I think he wants to get the matchups right, but more importantly, I think he wants to send a message to his team that, listen, we're going to line up our aces, our 1, 2, and 3 starter. This is a big series, and hopefully when they get Soriano back and now getting Aramis Ramirez back today, hopefully he have enough at bats that he'll start feeling a little bit better, get his timing back down. But this is a team that needs to get healthy, and this is a time where they can really take advantage. You can look at it in 2 ways. Disappointing that the Cubs have had the last 2 weeks have not been very good. They've let the Brewers and Cardinals back into it. But it's also disappointing for the Cardinals and Milwaukee because they've made up some ground, but the Cubs are just starting to get healthy again.
It's 11-1 Mets in the 6th inning in St. Louis, and that's the Cubs' destination next after the 8-3 loss to San Francisco to wind up that 4-game set. We thank you all for joining us. For Dan Plesac, I'm Chris Bowden. And stay tuned. Sports Night coming up next with Mark Shanowski and William Jackson. Have a good night, everyone.
Even rivals agree with this sweet deal. Your local Chevy dealers are giving you $400 worth of free gas with the purchase of a qualified GM certified used vehicle. Hurry in to claim this limited offer, only at your Chevy dealers and only while supplies last.
This quote of the week is brought to you by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. For an insurance quote for auto, home, life, or business, please call Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich at 847-825-4783.
You don't have to be shocked by your utility bill. Hit the jackpot with free installation from Feldco.
Call 866 for Feldco. Small. Big.
model, the Nissan Versa, 33 miles per gallon and the largest interior volume in its class.
You're watching the home of the Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox, Comcast Sportsnet. Get closer to the field on game day as Comcast Sportsnet, Menards, and the Cubs team up to select 6 lucky winners to be a Menards Wrigley Field groundskeeper for a day. Winner will enjoy the full game day experience of preparing the friendly confines and will help track the infield during the 4th inning in front of a packed house. Winner also receives 4 tickets to the game, a Menards groundskeeper uniform, and pre-game photos on the field. To enter the Menards Wrigley Field groundskeeper for a day, visit any Menards location to pick up an entry postcard.
Comcast Sportsnet's action-packed 4th of July weekend begins Friday at 6 with fireworks on the south side as the Sox duke it out with the Oakland A's. Saturday at 5:30, add some flavor to the cookout with White Sox baseball as they take on the A's at U.S. Cellular Field. Sunday at 1:30, the I-55 rivalry explodes in St. Louis as the Cubs battle their arch-enemy.
Johnson, top of the first, fresh off the disabled list. Johnson lifts the pitch from Tim Lincecum down the right field line. Johnson returns to the lineup with a leadoff double. That's the way you want to do it. Later in the inning, after they finish this play, Derek Lee comes through big time with a base hit into center. Yep, you see it there. Aaron Rowan's throw will eventually be way off the mark. And when I say off the mark, I'm talking about way off the mark. The Cubs take a 1-0 lead. Bottom of the second, the Giants will answer, though. Jose Castillo will go down the right field line. Aaron Rowan scores easily, and the Giants tie the game up at 1 run apiece. Then with 2 outs, Lincecum says, you know what, I'm a pitcher, but I can still help my own call. So while my buddy gets ready, let me show you what I can do at the plate. Base hit as he gets this one to go. Not too bad, huh? Singles through the hole on the right side. Castillo scores. The Giants lead it 2-1. Next batter is Fred Lewis, and he takes Gallagher to the left field gap. Lincecum is hustling. He will score all the way from first. It's a triple for Lewis, and Lincecum says, you know what, I think we better bat for a while because I need time to catch my breath before I go out there on the mound.
Edmonds didn't do a great job trying to cut that off.
No, he didn't help him at all. 3-1 Giants with the lead. Next batter is Ray Durham, and he pops up. Giovanni Soto calling for it, but you know what? Yeah, a catcher in that situation with the sun, you don't want to see it. It falls in. It's an error on Soto, and Lewis scores, and the Giants take a 4-1 lead at that point. You can't
get the sunglasses under the mask.
You can't get them on quickly enough, and that kind of hurts you. And here, Lincecum says, okay, I'm going to roll along and get a strikeout there, Ramirez. Next, Soto strikes out swinging on the slider. Then Mark DeRosa, you think he'll be able to do something here? And Lincecum says, I don't think so. We'll check that one, and you're out of there. But I tell you what, they try to get it going, the drive to the gap in right center. How about this one, as DeRosa says, we can get it going. And that means Lee will score easily. Edmonds comes all the way around from first, and it's a double for DeRosa, and that cuts the lead to 4-3. Bottom of the 7th, runners on the corners for the Giants. Carlos Marmol on in relief. And you may want to say that one. 2-0 pitch. Rich Aurelia says, gotcha all, baby. Deep to left. This one is gone. Marmol in disbelief. Lou takes Marmol out of the game after 1 batter, and Carlos gives up another home run. The Giants take a 7-3 lead, and they defeat the Cubs 8-3 as your final. And Marmol, as you see in the dugout, still can't believe what just happened. So the Cubs let the final game of this 4-game set slip away, but did, however, manage to split in the Bay Area. Giants only out-hit the Cubs 10-8, but it's the big 3-run shot Marmol gave up that spelled their demise. Here's our Cubs post-game live analyst Dan Plesac on the struggles of Carlos Marmol.
Well, this is going on just about 3 weeks for Carlos Marmol. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason, but if you simply try to break down what's going on, he doesn't have command of either one of his pitches. He has a very good fastball and a big breaking slider, and what he was doing early in the season, he was throwing a lot of fastballs early for balls, being ball 1, ball 2, but he had the ability to throw his slider for strikes to get guys to take that pitch 2-1, get the count to 2-2, and now he could go either or, and he's just having a very tough time throwing either one of his pitches for strikes, and until he does, he's going to continue to struggle.
So now the Cubs are off to St. Louis, where they play a 3-game set. Carlos Zambrano will be on the hill for the Northsiders tomorrow. He'll be opposed by the Cardinals. Braden Looper on Saturday. Ted Lilly and Cal Loesch will do battle. While in the series finale on Sunday, Sean Marshall is slated to square off against Todd Wellemeyer. And you can see that game, talking about the Sunday game, right here on Comcast Sportsnet.
It might be 4th of July weekend, but the business of basketball, it never stops for John Paxson and the Bulls. According to the Trib's Casey Johnson, Paxson met with restricted free agent Ben Gordon and his agent today. That follows a similar meeting with Luol Deng and his representative on Wednesday. Paxson said the Bulls won't make any major roster moves before finding out if they can sign both of those restricted free agents to long-term contracts. Meanwhile, the Bulls coaching staff is now complete with the signing of NBA veterans Del Harris, Bernie Bickerstaff, and Chicago native Bob Osipka to go along with holdover Pete Myers. Harris and Bickerstaff have combined for more than 26 years of NBA head coaching experience, while the head man, Vinny Del Negro, has never coached at any level. Bickerstaff coached the expansion Charlotte Bobcats during their first 3 seasons in the league. Osipka has 19 years of experience as an NBA assistant, spending the last 2 seasons with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And you all know Pete Myers. He's the only returning member of last year's staff, starting his 8th year as an assistant coach for the Bulls. He's also the guy who replaced Michael Jordan at shooting guard after MJ's first retirement. Former Bulls power forward Elton Brand is now the big prize on the NBA's free agent market. Brand expected to take a minor pay cut to stay with the LA Clippers and play with their new addition, Baron Davis. But if he decides to go for the money, Davis's old team, the Golden State Warriors, have offered Brand a 5-year deal worth a reported $90 million. Chris Paul won't be going anywhere. The Hornets all-star guard agreed to a 4-year contract extension worth approximately $68 million. Paul finished second in the most valuable player balloting last season behind Kobe Bryant. He led New Orleans to the 2nd best record in the Western Conference. And what do you know? Agent Zero is staying in the nation's capital. Wizards guard Gilbert Arenas agreed to a 6-year, $111 million deal. That's actually less than the $127 million the team was offering. Arenas said he wanted to give the Wizards more flexibility with the salary cap, but it's hard to see where they're going to have any money left after dishing out $161 million to Arenas and his buddy Antoine Jameson.
They make a lot of money in the NBA, I'm telling you. To the ice where there is never a good time to suffer an injury, but if it has to happen, better in the offseason than during the hockey year. The Blackhawks have announced that defenseman James Wisniewski will undergo surgery this week. Wisniewski apparently re-injured his right knee while working out, getting ready for next season. He tore his ACL. However, team physician Michael Terry says they're confident he'll make a full recovery and be ready for this upcoming season. The 24-year-old Wisniewski laced up the skates in 68 games for the Blackhawks last year, scoring 7 goals with 19 assists. Well, still to come on Land Rover Sports Night, a Chicago Rush rookie takes home a top honor. We'll hear from Donovan Morgan. And our Dan Jigges catches up with Bears great Dick Butkus as he tries to convince athletes that performance-enhancing drugs are not the way to go.
That's one thing to take them to supposedly help you, attain greatness in your particular sport, but it really is a health issue.
Plus, we check in on the red-hot White Sox opening a 4-game home series against the Oakland A's.
Land Rover Sports Night is driven by the fuel-efficient 2008 LR2. Now with a 22 miles per gallon EPA highway rating. For the Chicagoland retailer nearest you, visit LandRoverIllinois.com.
Around the world, more than 70,000 Land Rovers are engaged in peacekeeping, humanitarian aid, and scientific inquiry. And then there's these guys. Make an appointment to put a Land Rover through its paces.
You don't have to be stuck with your old windows, siding, or doors. Replace them now with free installation from Feldco.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Of course, Geico sponsors Mike's Race Car because they insure everything race car fans love. RVs, motorcycles, ATVs. Tell you one thing they can insure. Lauren Wallace. Because Lauren Wallace is made of lightning. Those guys are like, hey, where's Lauren? He was just here a minute ago. I'm 100 miles away, son. Ready to strike.
Geico, saving you money on insurance for your car and the other stuff that moves you.
So, EJ, we've designed you a signature shoe worthy of a 3-time All-American with mad smarts and 6 leadership skills. Ta-da!
There are over 380,000 NCAA student athletes.
Yeah, you got your GPA embossed, right? There.
I love it. And just about all of them will be going pro in something other than sports.
Can I get it in a loafer for casual Fridays?
Yes. Yeah.
Welcome back to Land Rover Sports Night. And hey, look who's meeting his adoring public out at the Taste of Chicago. It's Comcast Sportsnet's very own Josh Mora performing at the Dominic's Cooking Corner. Not sure if Josh showed off any of his culinary skills, but I'm sure he was glad to talk hockey with anyone who stopped by. Well, after watching all the late inning excitement out at U.S. Cellular Field over the last few days, Sox fans had to wonder which player would wind up being the hero tonight, with Oakland in town to start a 4-game series. Sox began play this evening with a 7-game winning streak and a 2.5-game lead in that American League Central race. Ozzie Guillen and the Sox hoping to keep it going this evening, but Oakland, they've been hanging in there in the AL West all season long. Top of the first batter, Mark Ellis. Javier Vasquez strikes him out. And it's Ryan Sweeney, the former White Sox outfielder. He goes down swinging. And Kurt Suzuki, more of the same. Vasquez strikes out the side. He really had it going tonight. Bottom of the first, Dwayne Wise, and that's a great start for the home team. Solo home run to right, his second of the season. Sox with the early 1-0 lead. Brings up the catcher, A.J. Przinsky, and he slaps one down the left field line. Hustles into second base for a double. Sox are in business against Justin Duchscherer. 2 batters later, Jermaine Dye up, and he's been red hot lately. Dye finds the gap in left center field. Przinsky trots in from third. Dye will go into second with a double, so it's 2-0 in favor of the White Sox. Looks like an easy win for the home team, but things would change around a little later. Top of the third, same score, Jack Hanahan leading off. He goes down swinging. Derek Barton also strikes out. Same fate for Donnie Murphy. Vasquez strikes out the side for the second time. He struck out 7 of the first 9 hitters. Top fourth, still 2-0 Sox. Vasquez hits Suzuki in the side with that pitch. Brings up the DH Jack Cust, and Cust unloads. There goes your no-hitter. 2-run homer to right, his 14th of the season. Just like that, one swing of the bat. We're all tied up at 2 apiece. Bottom of the 4th inning, still tied. Runners at the corners, 1 out. Nick Swisher lines it to Barton, who steps on first with a double play. Top of the 5th, still tied, 2 out, bases empty, when Donnie Murphy blasts a solo homer to left, his 3rd of the season. A's edge in front, it's 3-2. Bottom of the 6th, same score, 2 on, 2 out. Joe Creedy pops out to Mark Ellis in shallow right, so Sox can't convert. They strand 2 base runners. Bottom of the 8th, still 3-2 A's, 1 out. Przinsky drives one deep to left center field, and they're not going to run that one down. That's his 2nd double of the game, so the Sox have the tying run in scoring position. The A's bring in their closer early, Houston Street, and he fans Carlos Quentin. Dye with a chance to drive in the tying run, but he grounds out to third. That's going to end the inning. Sox strand A.J. in scoring position. To the bottom of the 9th, it's still a 1-run game. Street still pitching, 1 on, 1 out. Swisher goes down looking. 3rd strikeout of the game for him. And then Alexi Ramirez can't catch up to the hook there. He strikes out to end the game. No 9th inning matchup tonight. A's win by a final count of 3-2. Justin Duchscherer began the night with the best earned run average among American League starters, and he really came back strong after allowing 2 runs to the White Sox in the 1st inning. We told you about Javi Vasquez. He retired the first 11 hitters he faced tonight, but those 2 home runs turned out to be the difference. Vasquez only gave up 4 hits and struck out 10. Game 2 of the White Sox A series tomorrow night on the South Side. We've got it for you right here on Comcast Sportsnet at a special 4th of July holiday time of 6 p.m. Coverage begins with Chicago Tribune Live at 5:30.
Switching to football, the indoor kind, a big honor has been handed out to Chicago Rush receiver Donovan Morgan. He has been dubbed as the Arena Football League's Rookie of the Year, and he was a big reason why the Rush won the Central Division title. Morgan jumped onto the scene with a bang, finishing the regular season as the Rush's leading receiver, hauling in 113 passes for 1,300 yards and 24 touchdowns. He also led all rookies in receptions and receiving yards. However, he's not concerned about the award, but rather their playoff opponent for Sunday, the Grand Rapids Rampage.
Yeah, they're the hottest team, but I think we're the better team. You know, they're a great team, but I think we're greater than what they are. And our players, you know, we want it more. Every player wants it, but I think our team wants it more. Our preparation is more prepared than what they're going to do. And I just think that, you know, God giving us the opportunity to go out there and compete with those guys the way we know how we can compete, we can go out there and be victorious no matter what.
Still to come on the show, sticking with the football theme, is he or isn't he coming back? We'll get the thoughts from the gang on Chicago Tribune Live concerning Brett Favre's rumored return. Plus, NFL Hall of Famer Dick Butkus continues his mission to keep athletes away from performance-enhancing drugs. We'll hear from the former Bears great next on Sportsnet.
But now it's time for the Land Rover Big Question. Orlando Cabrera and A.J. Brzezinski have played hero for the White Sox the past 2 nights. So tonight's question for you is, this is something you can ponder for a couple of minutes anyway. Before last night, when was the last time the White Sox recorded 2 consecutive game-ending hits? We'll have the answer for you after this brief commercial timeouts.
Baltimore's a great place to pick up dance moves, I find. A lot of heel work. Jazz hands? Anything with jazz hands. I do the hustle just like you. Geico probably thinks this is easy too.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by American Chartered Bank. American Chartered, the bank for your business. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Grosinger Pontiac guarantees you the best experience when you buy your new Pontiac. Our experienced staff guarantees to take up as little of your time as possible. Our selection of 500 Pontiacs guarantees you'll find what you want. And Grosinger always offers their lowest prices. That's why you gotta go to Grosinger Pontiac.
You're watching the home of the Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox. Comcast Sportsnet.
You don't have to drive far for great family fun. The Muscatine County Fair is July 16th through the 20th. Friday night, July 18th, Billy Currington is at the fair.
Be doing something right. I just heard you.
Saturday the 19th, Tracy Lawrence comes to town.
You find out who your friends are. Somebody's gonna drop everything.
For the best family fun, it's the Muscatine County Fair, July 16th through the 20th in West Liberty, Iowa. It's tradition.
Since we started using cable advertising, we've had many people coming in saying that they saw our ad on television, and I've noticed a big difference in the demographics that we're bringing in.
Cable advertising is real effective for us because it reaches the area that we're looking for, it reaches our demographics.
Your advertising should reach the right audience at the best times in your core business area. Consider an effective and affordable advertising medium. Call me, Allison Johnson, at On Media today.
In February 2009, TV stations will broadcast exclusively in digital. Every TV that's hooked up to cable will still work just fine. If you get TV through an antenna, you can still keep your sets working. Just visit dtv2009.gov to apply for government coupons for converter boxes, or call 888-DTV-2009 for information.
Chicago Tribune Live, weeknights at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet.
Before the break, we did ask the Land Rover big question before last night. When was the last time the White Sox recorded 2 consecutive game-ending hits? The answer, May 30th and 31st, the year 2005. Timo Perez had a single. Jermaine died a solo home run. You know we do this big question thing every night at 10. Well, welcome back to Land Rover Sports Night. It was more than 40 years ago when Dick Butkus first suited up in a Bears uniform, and shortly thereafter, he took the NFL by storm, setting a new trend for the position of middle linebacker.
It was 40 years ago? Wow. 40 years Hard to believe. You know, as older Bear fans remember, Butkus was able to intimidate most of the NFL's players, but these days, he's using a kinder, different approach to convince athletes that performance-enhancing drugs should not be an option in their lives. Dan Jiggets has that story.
I think everybody just is so blasé about it. You know, oh, steroids, oh, okay. You know, but that's one thing to take them to supposedly help you, you know, attain greatness in your particular sport. But it really is a health issue.
When the ferocious Dick Butkus was on the football field,
His opponents knew it would be a long day. Beyond the aggression and urgency that Butkus had as a player, there was a loyalty and a love for the game.
Just a desire. And, you know, it's not to say all these kids don't have that same desire, but there's a lot of people out there. It's a lot of competition.
The Butkus name is among the most legendary in American sports history, and his years of football were a catalyst to a career of movie and television roles. And today, the 65-year-old Hall of Famer has devoted his full attention to saving the future of a new generation of athletes. Joining him in the effort is his son, Matt, who played college ball at USC.
About 2.5 years ago, I met a guy, Don Hooten, who's started the Taylor Hooten Foundation, which Taylor Hooten was Don's son and committed suicide coming off of steroids. So that kind of woke me up a little bit. We got this thing, and at first it was called Mean and Clean, but then we quickly found that high school girls are into steroids. So we just made it Play Clean, and there's a website, iPlayClean.org, and it's just getting the awareness. I think my part of it is getting the awareness of the use of steroids, and that it's really, it robs the kids' health.
For Butkus, there was another hard-fought battle that ended with a victory. The Butkus Award, which is presented to college football's top linebacker each year. Butkus sued the Downtown Athletic Club of Orlando to gain control of the award that bears his name. And after a year-long wait for a ruling, his wish was granted.
They asked if I would do the linebacker thing, you know, and I says, you know, fine, under these stipulations of first-class affair and raising money, and you know, they just didn't do that. So okay, I learned. It takes me a little while to learn. So after 23 years, we're moving it here, and I think that's another step in our I Play Clean campaign. Is that proceeds from that dinner. And what we're also going to do is, unlike down there, with the college linebacker, we're going to honor a high school linebacker and a pro.
As for the state of his old team, Butkus weighs in on the controversies that have hovered over the Bears camp.
Well, Brian, it's hard. You know, to sit in a general manager's chair and a player's chair, you know how it is. You sign a contract, and it's the team is thinking, well, this is what you're worth, all right? So maybe you're not worth that much. You know, you don't turn out as well as everybody thinks, so they don't take that contract back. But if you have a great year and, you know, you continue to be one of the best, then sometimes you're thinking, wait, you know, here's so-and-so getting this, maybe I ought to get more or whatever. You know, in his case, I really don't know. He says he wants to play here, this and that, and I really thought it was a way of getting himself out of minicamp, but he showed up anyway.
It's not a bad thing. But
yeah, but the Benson thing, and it just you know, being away from the game and hearing you know, regular people saying, you know, the opportunity that he squandered, what's wrong with these people? You know, I can't speak for him, but you know, man, I did some stupid things too. But man, when you're fooling with that and the money, you know, we never made nothing, so it was no big deal.
While the times and attitudes of the world have changed, Butkus maintains his philosophy that athletes can win on natural ability. And in his corner, a few old friends kindly lend their support.
Kids, you know, on steroids, you know, things like that, it has no place in sports, whether it's football, basketball, running track, or whatever it may be. And whatever I can do to help, I'm happy to do it.
We got to educate the coaches, the parents, fans, and the players themselves. Everybody's got to start talking to their kids and just communicate to them that, you know, steroids is not a shortcut.
Dan Jiggett's Comcast Sportsnet.
All right, Dan, thanks a lot. There's nothing new to report on the hot rumors circulating around the NFL circles that Brett Favre is contemplating a comeback. Favre told a newspaper in his home state of Mississippi that it's just talk, just rumors. But one radio outlet in Milwaukee is reporting Favre has already asked the Packers to release him so he can sign with another team. Favre's future, one of the topics earlier tonight on Chicago Tribune Live.
I think it'd be totally unfair to Aaron Rodgers because you've told him that he's going to be your quarterback. You said he's a quarterback of the future, young guy who's been sitting around waiting his turn, and now Brett's back in the mix. I mean, several ex-players have come out and said, hey, you know what, he needs to probably just stay where he's at right now and let Aaron Rodgers develop, and I think that's correct.
I could see him playing for somebody else.
What about the beloved Bear?
No, I don't think
that's gonna
anybody in the division that he would play. I think they've pretty much made that clear. I don't think anybody in the division they would even.
But they're not going to trade him.
They might. I mean, apparently there's a contentious relationship between Favre and Ted Thompson, the general manager.
So what if he says, guess what? You either trade me here or just release me. He may ask to be released.
Right, and they say that the Jets have extreme interest in him because they did when he was coming out of Southern Miss. They said he was a guy that they really targeted, but he went right ahead in the draft, so they couldn't get him right to Atlanta. So it'd be interesting to see if the Jets definitely need a quarterback. They don't.
Okay, let me ask you this: if he's released and he says, you know what? I don't care if it's the Bears, the Vikings. Would the Bears sign him if they could get him?
Rex is our quarterback.
Oh my God!
I just don't ever see it happen. I don't see how he could do that. I don't see how Brett Favre could do that and go
Jim
back to Green.
McMahon did it.
Yeah, but I don't see how he could do that and go back to Green Bay and play. I just don't see it happening. There's no way.
How cool would that be?
Yeah, it would be cool. It would be a different,
Okay, answer this.
storyline.
If he said, I'll do it. If he said, I'll do it, would the Bears make the move?
No.
Oh, my God.
I don't think so, but I do think it would affect his legacy in Green Bay. They know how to make people think, don't they?
Yeah, Fred Mitchell gets off the line in the night. Rex is our quarterback.
Is our quarterback still with the football right around the corner. All right, up next, we'll take a trip around the bases and check in on the rival Red Sox and Yankees. That's straight ahead on Sportsnet.
You know, even rivals agree with this sweet deal. Your local Chevy dealers are giving you $400 worth of free gas with the purchase of a qualified GM certified used vehicle. Hurry in to claim this limited offer, only at your Chevy dealers and only while supplies last.
Paint me. Paint me. Paint me. Paint me. Paint me.
House telling you something? Lowe's has new lower prices all over the store. Paint, brushes, ladders, you name it. So come to Lowe's this July 4th weekend and let's build something together. Use your Lowe's consumer credit card and pay nothing for 12 months on any purchase of $299 or more.
Did you get the file I sent?
Yeah, let me put you on hold for a sec. All right, I'm back.
Trying to create your own fun?
Chili's.
Welcome to Chili's. Pepper in some imagination with Chili's new Create Your Own Fajitas. Start with tender steak, marinated chicken, or garlic lime shrimp. Then get creative with your choice of toppings like shredded jack cheese and thick-cut bacon. Your possibilities are endless. Chili's, pepper in some sizzle, pepper in some fun.
Jim Thome here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
That ball hit deep into right field. You can put it on the board. Yes! Mercy. And just like that, Jim Thome, Mr. Incredible, ties this ball game up.
Something in the way you move, little darling. Yes, there's something in the way you talk that make me realize there's something in the way you move.
The 2008 Volvo XC90 Special Edition SUV. Get together with yours at the Volvo Model Year-End event. Now's the best time to get an 08 Volvo. Event ends July 31st.
Comcast Sportsnet's action-packed 4th of July weekend begins Friday at 6 with fireworks on the south side as the Sox duke it out with the Oakland A's. Saturday at 5:30, add some flavor to the cookout with White Sox baseball as they take on the A's at U.S. Cellular Field. Sunday at 1:30, the I-55 rivalry explodes in St. Louis as the Cubs battle their arch-enemy, the Cardinals. And at 6:30, 10 at midnight, don't miss Sports Night. It's an action-packed weekend only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Welcome back. Top of the first, Dodgers 1-0. 2-on, 2-out versus Houston. Blake DeWitt base hit into center. Jeff Kent and James Loney come in to score. Dodgers lead the game now. As a result, it kind of walks in 3-0. Top of the third, same score. Andre Ethier leading off, and you better watch out for this one. A solo shot to left, his 9th of the season. Dodgers go up 4-0 in the ball game. Bottom of the 4th, same score. 1-on-1 out. Lance Berkman.